What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking superheroes, movies, TV, video games, anime, action figures, comic books, and more. I'm Lawrence St. Victor. We got Jack Walker Pearson, Richard Wilson, Christopher St. Victor. Gentlemen, how was your week? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you playing? What is going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
All right, first of all, we're gonna start off real quick. Request. My nephew wanted to come on real quick just to say what's up, show face,
Yeah.
long-time subscriber, and friend of the show.
Friend of the
There we go.
show.
XJ.
XJ!
Hey!
Hold on. Let me get your screen big, Rich. Let me get your screen. There we go. Hold on.
What up? Say what up, XJ. Say what up.
What up? Subscribe.
What up?
Subscribe. You heard him. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
So who's your favorite brother and/or shot of milk, XJ?
Who's your favorite brother and/or shot of milk, XJ?
Here we go. Let's see. You.
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
Well, all right
Thank
then. No, he ain't talking about you. He ain't talking about you.
Oh,
Talking about me. He can't hear you. He can hear me. All right. All right. We about to get back to it. All right.
But you
See
can
you,
watch.
buddy.
You can watch us on
You
YouTube
keep
right
watching.
now, XJ.
Bye.
Don't do
Say hi to
that
your
to my
mom.
baby.
Watching it. Bye.
All right.
Chat.
Thanks,
Bye.
chat.
Well done.
nice.
Oh, what is this? I hate this. Why is it like this?
Because they know what's up.
Why
Yeah,
is it
yeah, baby.
I don't like it. Ah. Oh man. So how was your week though? What's going on, guys?
Yo, I watched this thing called Pluto this week.
Yeah, I was watching that too. How you like that?
Medium, if I'm honest. Medium.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, and I really like certain elements of it. And I guess what was odd for me is, spoiler alert, this is a spoiler. They kind of do away with the protagonist 2 episodes before the season's over, and you're sitting here going,
So I guess I don't need to watch this, Jack.
Yeah.
Dang,
well, I guess
Jack.
that's debatable who you think the protagonist is, I suppose. It was odd. I liked it, but I also was kind of like I didn't love it, but I watched the whole thing, and I watched Sly. Stallone
I
doc.
watched
Oh.
that. I enjoyed it. I wish it was more like the Schwarzenegger one, where it was like episodes. Just it was too short.
It was so short. That's what I thought
It's way
too. It was
too
an
short.
hour and a half, and I mean, he does say some stuff. And as an artist and a content creator, a writer, an actor, I was like, so much of what he was saying was like, I felt like he was really talking to me.
Oh yeah.
I had a phenomenal relationship with my father, so I don't relate with that element at all. And it seems like his dad was a total douche.
Yeah.
Then he said that thing about how time is, and it really kind of like stung in a way where he says from ages 0 to 40, you add, it's plus. You're building relationships and friendships and your career and all this stuff, and 40 on is minuses.
Damn.
That's what I said. I said, damn. And then you start giving examples, and so I don't know. It was kind of like the whole thing is, I mean, what an artist. The guy's journey is pretty interesting.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
one thing I really wished he got into, and I understand why he didn't, but they touched on it, but the passing away of his son, and
they didn't even touch on it at all.
which, I mean, it's such a big thing, especially since his son played his son in the yes, not that I need it. That's his business, but I was curious on how that would.
But it was odd. I thought about it too, because essentially we're watching a memoir instead of reading a book, right?
Right.
And that's what a lot of these artists are now doing, who we grew up watching. They're doing video memoirs. Val, same thing.
Yeah.
Your memoir isn't actually probing the deepest parts of you that you keep secret. What is a memoir?
I mean, and it's hard not to compare because they both were on Netflix. But when Schwarzenegger dropped his, he had to talk about the affair he had with his maid that birthed one of his children.
Oh, yeah.
Like he and literally ended his marriage, or at least it was what publicly ended his marriage. Who knows what was going on behind the scenes?
Right.
But like he could not talk about that because
I mean, usually banging your maid will do
Hey,
that.
hey, hey,
no,
hey.
but it wasn't just the maid. Like the maid got pregnant, and he has a
Right.
son, and the son's in the docuseries. Like you see him with him. It's like you can't.
That son looks more like his kid than his other kid.
Hey.
No,
rough.
Schwarzenegger got strong genes. You cannot say that's not your son. But no, I dug it too, Jack. What else you watch? Pluto, Sly.
Nothing worth writing home about. I played some video games, which honestly I don't even remember what I played. So I guess that's not worth mentioning either. Let's move on to other things that are worth mentioning. Someone else's week.
Well, can I talk to the tech guy? Can we get it to stop saying stream starting soon and say like and subscribe or something?
There we go.
Yeah, can it say Lawrence is back?
Lawrence is back, baby.
Yeah, here we go, Jeffrey.
Yo, it's Jeffrey. What's going on, man? I missed it last week. I was watching though. Rich, how was your week, man?
My week was all right. Didn't do much. Just played Call of Duty. Man, that yeah. It's a disappointment, man. It was like I played. I'm a sucker. I buy even though I don't have to buy it because of Warzone and everything like that. I buy it because I like playing the campaign, and this one was just a 4-hour just letdown.
Did you beat it yet?
I did.
I haven't beaten it yet.
And
it just feels like it's. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm pretty upset about it too.
It's not good. It's an overpriced DLC. And then after that, the multiplayer, it's just not. It's not the same. Other than that, I've been. I tried to get back into Starfield.
No,
been let down with that. I've been let down with that one as well because of the game. Literally a game breaking glitch that I can't fix has taken my first character.
Yo, it's
and
the
I can't
same.
do anything about.
It's the same thing happened with Skyrim. I keep saying it.
Listen, whatever.
Anyway. How long is it?
Go ahead.
How long do you guys have to wait before there's a patch that fixes this? Is it 6 months?
But who wants to start over?
When? But I'm just a question. Like
I've already started over. That's if they even put out a patch for it, because that glitch is not affecting everyone. It's only affecting some people. If this is like a major glitch, then they will put out a patch right away. But as of right now, I have no idea because not everyone's really affected by it. It's only like a few people here and there.
I got a question for you, Rich.
What's that?
You might know the answer to this. I was arguing with Lawrence this week on the phone about it.
He lost.
You might be thinking about something I'm not about to talk about. My question is this, though. If you buy a video game digitally and you don't get the hard copy and say you back it up on a hard drive or something.
We were in agreement about this, Jack. We were on the same page.
That's why I don't know what you're talking about.
You said we were arguing.
We talked I don't know. We talked about a lot of things at some point. But can I let someone borrow that hard drive or do they need to download it themselves? My question is this, essentially. It blows my mind that a digital copy of a video game is the same price as a hard copy of a video game. Right. But with a hard copy, I can let someone borrow it or I can resell it.
True.
Right.
Digital copy, what do I get?
Nothing.
Well, you get the digital copy.
That's about it. You get to play the game.
They tricks you into thinking having it digitally is like you're a level up. But in reality, you actually don't.
Yeah, there's no packaging.
So why is anybody buying digital copies?
Because a lot of us have no choice.
Why don't you have a choice? You always have a choice.
I have an old digital. I have the non-drive Xbox.
Oh, you.
That's when you messed up.
Some of us have a choice, and you chose wrong, sir.
You chose wrong. Exactly.
It was a pandemic, and that was the only thing that was available.
Man, you should have been
Yeah,
looking at
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
I was looking at Facebook Marketplace and found someone right in my town that was selling it. Her sister's boyfriend didn't want it. He wanted the PlayStation 5. I was like, I'll take
Smart
that off your
guy.
hands
Very
for
smart
retail.
guy.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, you get digital. Digital's pretty much convenience for at least for me, because I don't have to go out to the store. I don't have to go sit there and search for it or whatever the case may be. I can just download it when it comes
I
out.
can just order it and have it delivered. I get Amazon free delivery.
That's another
I mean,
form of
the only
convenience,
perk
man.
I see is when it's like 60% off, maybe.
Yeah, but for me, for most of the stuff I haven't been buying except for Call of Duty. God. Anyway, most of my stuff has been Game Pass. Man, Game Pass is a game changer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
I got
You
a lot
remember
of
when
stuff.
Genesis tried that back in the day, where it would connect to your cable, and
No, I
they
remember.
had streaming in the late '90s.
I did not know they had it. No.
Well,
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
has a similar thing.
Oh no, the PlayStation got a similar thing, but Game Pass is where it's at, man. What you talking about?
Hey man,
Um.
PlayStation 5 all day long.
Anyway, the rest of my week. Thank you for asking.
How was the rest of your week, Rich?
That was it. Haven't been doing anything.
Mm.
Just working. You know what I mean? Just
Well, I dig your shirt.
going crazy silently at my job. Oh,
I like your shirt and I like your light setup back there,
you see
sir.
that? I told you it was coming, baby.
Rich looks like a real YouTuber. We look like I'm in a study somewhere.
Lawrence looked like he's about to solve a crime. Like,
no, I'll try to put some lights on to make it look good, doesn't? Chris, how was your week?
It was good. It was good. I made a flashbang for Sebastian, a 3D printed flashbang, and it has a real pin.
nice.
That's good. Just what he needs.
Yep. More stuff. More stuff to add to his armor. We started watching Oppenheimer.
You and Sebastian.
All of us, the whole family.
Interesting.
That little boy's watching a 3.5 hour movie.
No, he was talking. So he thought what he thought it was going to be was just nonstop nuclear explosions, and not constant talk of quantum physics. And then he lost interest in 5 minutes.
I don't think there's a possibility for there to be non-stop nuclear explosions.
I mean, if Michael Bay directed it, it would have been.
Like, what else is there to blow up, Michael Bay? We'll figure it out.
Explosions, not explosions. And then I started watching that Netflix movie Killer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Killer.
It was all right.
Really?
It was all right. Yeah,
Wow.
it was all right. And then and I've been playing Call of Duty, which Rich, I agree. It feels like, especially with there's a new feature where, as opposed to how you have what they call it, open world, or essentially it just feels like you're playing Warzone, and where you come off Modern Warfare 2, which had such an amazing storyline where you're fighting the cartel, you're fighting terrorists, and then all of a sudden this just seems so like half baked. It's just so disappointing.
Generic.
Yeah.
Extremely. And then they have these weapon drops. I'm like, I'm not playing online multiplayer. I'm playing campaign. So why is there like just drops everywhere? It just.
I mean, you talking about the DMZ? Yeah, the DMZ portion of the. Yeah. I don't know, bro. They were just
It feels like they're like, oh, we don't have enough. What can we do to pad this?
They didn't have enough at all. Like, they could have just went with the story and made an actual decent story, because I was into that story, that Makarov story. I was into that. I'm sitting like, oh, my man is making moves inside of the gulag. What?
Not
and then this
gulag.
is what we get. Like, first of all,
not the gulag.
Shut up, Lawrence. You're just shut up.
Wow. Anybody see the best movie?
The what movie?
This movie, Dream Scenario, looks like it's gonna be great.
Oh, I keep seeing trailers for that.
Wait, who's in that?
It's Nicolas Cage plays this average-looking
I know
guy.
what you're talking. Yeah.
And everyone on the planet just randomly starts dreaming about him.
He's like,
or he's in their dream.
I dream about Nicolas Cage all the time, so that is accurate.
Yo, it looks great.
Okay.
How was your week, Lawrence? Thank you for asking.
How was your week?
Do we have time for this?
Oh my God, 15 minutes in. But before that, for those of you watching Jeffrey, we are talking about the Loki finale later on. We're talking about the Marvels later on. We're also talking about that Blue Eye Samurai later on. But now my week has been great. I actually just finished watching Blue Eye Samurai like 5
You
minutes ago.
just finished it.
I can't wait till we talk about it. This
Man.
is Chris. I feel like in your recommendations last week of best cartoons, you must have not have finished this because there's no way this is not like top 5 cartoons of all time.
It's good.
Come
Blue Eye
on.
Samurai is good.
It's good. And I wasn't there last week, so I'm catching you guys up. Gen V, Rich, I don't know what you're talking about. Gen V is amazing. The finale was pretty
Nah.
great.
Was it the finale?
I like the
The
finale
last clip?
because you know where it has to. You know that they have to set up the boys. They
Right.
have to.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, you know.
Wait, I didn't finish Gen V, so yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I haven't finished it.
It's good, dude. And for me, a lot of ways, it's better than the boys in some ways. It's more compelling. It's more
You like
compelling.
that preteen? No, that teenage.
I like teen angst, Rich. I like teen
early 20 angst. Yeah.
But
like
you know what? Because it's not on WB, they can actually get to the point.
Are we
They
gonna
do
watch
get to
this
the point.
swimmer on the bottom the whole time?
Yeah,
Like, comment, subscribe,
Yes, make
Yeah.
them, make them.
subscribe.
What's the problem?
What else did I watch? I've been playing Spider-Man 2, which is just amazing. Spoiler alert. Guys, you don't just play as Miles Morales. You don't just play as Peter freaking Parker. I'm in here as Venom catching wreck.
I thought you were about to say Mary Jane.
You play as Mary Jane as 2. You actually do play as Mary Jane.
Yeah, you do.
You have side missions no one ever asked for. And she's way too capable. Like, why is she so capable?
What about like Spider Gwen?
No, Gwen Stacy's not in this world, in this universe. But it's fun, man. It's fun. What else? Of course, Loki. Digging Loki. Although, we'll talk about it. And that's it. Yo, Chris.
What's up, Lawrence?
I got a question for you, man.
What's that?
What's Aquaman's favorite style of art?
What is Aquaman's favorite style of art?
Watercolors.
He's correct, Evan.
You, Rich. You're a hater. You're a hater. Jeffrey liked that one, and so did Connie. They like
Connie, don't worry. We're going to deliver the spoilers for you. Don't worry.
And moving on.
And moving on, guys. Jump in your car, fasten your seatbelt, go down the street, left of the light, or right at the stop sign. Go right into the parking lot. Make yourself at home because we're at the Collector's Corner.
It's show and tell time.
Here at the Collector's Corner, we take something out of our toy chest, something out of our video game case, something of our comic book shelf, and we showcase it to the world. It can be worth millions of dollars, or in Chris's case,
Just sentimental.
Guys, whatever. Whatever.
Disrespect.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you for loving the jokes. I appreciate it.
I better go
You have
first.
taste.
So everyone else's stuff looks pretty.
Let's talk about that hoodie you got on. The thing is dope.
Hold on.
Thanks.
That Avengers.
It's my whatever it takes hoodie.
Yeah, that's cool.
That sounds okay.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks a lot. So I've
I
had
like
my
the hoodie,
eye
yeah.
out for this comic book for quite some time, and I almost bought it a few years back. I saw it in a comic book shop, and I almost just impulse bought it for like $200.
Whoa.
But I didn't.
Man
I
got
saw
expensive
him-
impulses. All right.
Yeah, sometimes. But I didn't get it, so I curbed the impulse. I saw this on eBay on an auction.
Wow.
Okay.
This is Superman 199. It's his first race with the Flash.
All right.
I bought this for $24.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
$24. I would guess if I got this thing graded as is, it'd probably be like a 4. But if it got cleaned up and pressed, you might get a 5 out of it.
Okay.
So it's significantly more valuable than the $24, which included the shipping that I paid for this thing. So happy about it. And I actually read I read it, and it's pretty hysterical actually. And even the cover is funny. You got
What year is that from? Sir?
It's like 60?
60 something, but But you got Batman rooting for the Flash on the cover. Show him Flash. It's
Such a
hysterical.
jerk.
And then you got Hawkeye rooting for the Superman team. And then what the whole conflict is they're doing a race, but there's people that are betting on the race. So they got a lot of money riding on either one of the candidates.
Nice.
And these people from either one of the who would benefit from, say, Flash winning over Superman, decide to sabotage the race.
That makes sense.
And so they plant all these just ridiculous traps and stuff throughout the course of the race. And at the end of it, spoiler alert, they have body doubles of each of the candidates. So they so the Flash guys knock Superman out with like a kryptonite gas, and the Superman guys like trip Flash up and get him tied up. And then they both, but unbeknownst to the other team, and then they put their doubles into the race, and they're both like running at like human speed about.
Wow.
And they're like, but they don't know that the other one's a double also. And so they're like looking at each other going, and it shows their subtext. They're like, why is this guy running so slow now? What? And then they both come to the conclusion that the other one is a fake. They're like, you're fake, you're throwing the race. He's like, you're fake, you're throwing the race. And they're both fake, and they're both throwing the race. And then Superman and the Flash team up, and they, get past their captors, and they actually tie the race. There's no winner in the contest.
Interesting.
Okay.
That was before they doubled down on Superman being faster. He was also grounded in the comic, right? He wasn't allowed to fly.
He's not allowed to fly in the first race. That's correct. And so there's all kinds of really funny obstacles. Like Superman has to go over a pyramid, but the Flash phases through it. He's like, oh, he's catching up on me. And then, which works pretty well until they get to like Antarctica, and then Flash is having a lot of trouble with the ice.
It's funny because I actually have that, Jack, because my dad had that as a kid, but it's like torn to shreds.
It's still even graded at like a 2 or a 1.
I don't think you understand.
It's that bad, huh?
I'm like, did you put it in water?
Funny thing about water is it can kind of get pressed out, but the rips, you kind of any kind of bends on the thing, you can't get that out. But I was really happy to add this to my collection this week.
Nice.
That's
great. Cool, yeah.
That's great.
That is dope.
Oh, right.
Hey,
let's go. Come on.
So I got some Supermans to show you since we're talking about Supermans. I got this Superman that I think Lawrence showed.
Nice. Look at you.
I mean, Vin showed it to me. She was shopping. She saw it. I was like, you got to get it because it's super cool.
Come on.
And then I got this infected Superman too.
Hey.
Wow. Where'd you find that's still on the shelf? Where'd you find that guy?
To be fair, it may have been in my closet for a while.
Okay.
That came out like 2 years ago, Chris.
Yeah, to be fair. In my closet. I saw Superman. I was grabbing Superman. This Superman happened to be under this Superman. It's like, let me just grab him and show both Supermans together.
No, those are dope. Those are dope. Those are
this
nice.
I'm hyped about. So, yeah,
well done. Well done. You don't usually come up with the Superman stuff, man.
Yeah, I figure, I do have 2 Superman shelves here, so,
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey, how you been?
What do I have? All right, listen. So I saw my nephew, as we all met earlier in the show, and we went to Nyack. There's a local comic book shop that is closing down. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. It's on Main Street. Funny Business. Sure, why not? And everything's 60%. Oh, actually, no, don't go there because I still need to go back and shop. No, everything's 60% off. So we went there. I went to go buy him a couple of things. They came out to like $12. I'm like, excuse me, I'm gonna look more.
Ridiculous.
So I picked up some stuff. I'm not gonna show it all, but I picked up this guy. I don't know why, because it was cheap. And my man Magneto, because first of all, why don't you have a Magneto? I think I only have one Magneto. But I got the Savage Lands Magneto, if I'm not mistaken. Where are you? Yeah. But yeah, you see homeboy right there. He got 2 head scopes, one with the helmet, one without. Got his ponytails popping.
How much was that, Rich?
Well, the box price was $27.99.
How much you
So-
buy it for?
60. I don't know. Everything that I bought altogether, I bought like I bought 6 figures altogether, and it came out to like $50.
Damn,
So that's like
that's a bargain and a half.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
So one of the figures I got was a double pack of All Might and All for One, which Lawrence knows was like $50 originally. That was that was put down to $20, and then you take the 60% off. There you
Off
go.
the 20?
All for the 20, yeah.
Wow.
That's
So
crazy.
I'm
just
just like,
giving it away.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Literally.
like, sure,
Literally.
why not? So I'm gonna try to make my way back there. They're closing at the end of the year. I'm gonna try to make my way back there and find some more stuff,
I have to fly
and
up.
maybe have to find some deals, because I saw some of my gargoyles, and I'm just like, hey, if I can get this gargoyle for 60% off, maybe I could sell it for full price, because it's new in the box. What I'm talking about is make some money, baby.
Yeah, even if you sell retail.
Yeah. So I'm just like, we're gonna make some moves. But yes, that was my deal.
Well done, Rich. Well freaking
Nice.
done. Me, man, I added a Superman to the collection. I got my Injustice
Oh,
all right.
Superman figure from McFarlane.
That
I like the
looks pretty
texture on
good.
it.
Huh?
I like the texture on it.
The glare. Trying to get the glare up. The glare is crazy. But no, it's sick. And the head sculpt, like, it's getting more and more realistic looking, if you can see the head sculpt right there. And it's just a dope figure, man. I love the color. I love the texture, Jack. The texture.
What's wrong with his trunks?
We
They look like a whole nother kind of metallic blue there.
he had like
Like he's
weird.
really trying to draw attention to his midsection.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
I know I do.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, I know. Anyway,
Come on, man. He's sovereign. You gotta do what you gotta do.
He's sovereign. Wow.
But that is my my joy. I can't wait to add him to the Superman McFarlane collection. That's what we're doing over here. But yeah, man.
Nice.
Good job, guys. Good job. Stop. Wait, what's next? Is it
Time
the
for
news?
let me help
Is
you
it
out.
really? Oh, wait. It's been a while, baby.
It's time for and Lawrence is back, and time for the news.
It is time for some news, yo, guys. We got a buttload of news, literally a buttload, as much as you can fit up there. We have the news.
Hey, yo.
So the Marvels, as far as what's today's date? As of Sunday, November 12th, it is the worst MCU opening weekend of all time.
Well, that's
The Marvels.
sexist.
Well, I don't know
Is
if
it
it's. I don't know if it's. Well, this is my opinion. We have a lot of people ragging on the movie, but we saw the same thing with DC. When the taste gets bad, like each movie progressively gets a worse turnout. So Thor: Love and Thunder, people didn't like it. People hated Ant-Man 3, they didn't like it. So the next string of movies, unless it's going to be on some Guardians 3, James Gunn's final swan song, people are tired of it. So that's what happened. That's kind of what happened with DC. People got over it. To the point where, Chris, we would talk about it, where like the Suicide Squad was good.
Yeah.
But people were like, again, the second one. And people were like,
was good. Yeah.
But by that point,
Connie, Alaska, just because it's getting bombed doesn't mean the movie itself is necessarily bad.
We'll
It's
talk
about
right.
it. There's some people that are absolutely going to like the movie. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to.
But then there's Rich.
Kind of,
then there's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's a little bit of movie fatigue is going on still too. You know.
Is it movie fatigue or is it just a bad movie? I mean,
No.
Let me stop.
No.
Let me stop.
I saw the trailer for Aquaman. I'm like, ugh, I guess.
I don't think it's movie fatigue. I don't think because good movies still get seen. People just don't show up to see it twice. Like you can still make a bad movie that people want to see. They pay the money. It says a good opening weekend. This is people are tired of Marvel not making sense. People got burned by Ant-Man 3. People are tired of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
And this next installment was
Strange.
Doctor Strange. So like,
yes,
the Marvels would have had to come out.
You had to mention it.
Yes. So the Marvels would have had to come out guns blazing for them to get rid of the bad taste in people's mouths. And they're not Guardians 3.
It would have need to have done something to shake up the monotony of what's going on too.
Do you mean something that actually mattered?
We'll get to that when we get to that.
We'll get
And
to
in other
in
news,
another news, John Wick is getting an anime.
Okay, let's go.
We're getting a John Wick anime, which I feel like is going to be a seamless transition for that.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
Might even be. I won't say it's going to be better than the movies, but it's going to be ridiculous. It could be.
Jeffrey just found out there's a thing called a box office.
Yeah. Now, Jeffrey, what's very interesting is I don't think box office really matters. At the end of the day, streaming, merchandising, like box office weekends are such an old style of measuring whether something's good. Like no one's running to go see something when they know that it's going to be on Disney Plus in like 2 months. Why?
For what? No one's going to watch it once it's on Disney Plus. Who are you talking about?
Rich, you a hater. You know that
talking about right now.
You know that Captain Marvel grossed $1 billion in the box office?
Captain Marvel was pretty all right, even though she was neutered.
Hey,
the first movie.
Captain Marvel, yeah.
That movie was trash. This one was way better than the part Captain Marvel 1.
Listen, Captain Marvel was fighting the patriarchy, okay? Even though she was a top pilot.
Blue Eye Samurai fought the whole patriarchy. You like that?
Come on, man.
That was because that was good. But she was actually being suppressed.
We're doing it live.
What are you talking about?
We're not there yet, Rich. James Gunn confirmed Superman Legacy will release as scheduled. It is going to come out July 11th, 2025. So it's
2025.
Well, yeah. They had.
I gotta survive a whole nother year. Okay.
You do. Well, I brought that up just because the actors' strike is finally over.
Yeah.
Since the actors' strike are finally over, we're getting release dates of things that would have come out earlier.
This is also why we got bombarded by like 100 trailers.
A million. All like Netflix though. Like Netflix dropped a bunch. But I'll get
Speaking
to the
of
other
which,
release.
Let's talk about that other Netflix trailer.
I wasn't gonna go there, but sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's. All right. This guy's jumping the. All right. So Netflix gave us a bunch of trailers. First up, we got freaking Avatar: The Last Airbender dropped their trailer.
Wow.
Looking.
You know what? I was on the fence with this one.
Yo.
M. Night Shyamalan, are you watching?
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
I know you're listening, but are you
listening? But are you watching?
Netflix is kind of killing their live action anime right now. And I'm very optimistic that if they continue...
Are they?
Look how good it looks.
But they had a lot of bombs.
Yeah, okay, but it's at least...
You can't say killing it.
Killing the visual. Zack Snyder's Watchmen, killing the visual.
They're redeeming themselves from Death Note and canceling Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I kind of put all that out of my mind. You're right. All right. Anyways, Avatar looks great. It makes me optimistic for potentially someday, and I think they've got to be working on it, a live action Berserk.
Jack, you're the only person I ever hear talk about Berserk.
I'll talk about it every episode if that's the platform for it.
Hey, we might
manifest, Jack.
Manifest that. Netflix also dropped their Masters of the Universe Revolution trailer. It looks good.
Okay.
It looks like He-Man might be in it.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the last time it looked like he might be in it. What I do, man, Keith David is voicing Hordak. So yeah. I want to watch it just to hear him just be the coolest bad guy in the world.
Yeah.
We're getting Dead Boys Detectives. The trailer dropped, and this was supposed to be connected to the Sandman universe, but it felt different.
I didn't care.
I mean, I'll probably check it out a little bit when it.
I'll check it out if it is truly connected to Sandman. Then I was like, okay.
The premise seemed very similar to the other Dead Detective thing.
There's supposed to be another one, right? On HBO or something?
No, it's also Netflix. Who? Yu
Yu Hakusho?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the next trailer we're going to talk about. The Yu Yu Hakusho trailer.
You said it right the first time. I don't know why you fumbled the second.
Because I didn't trust Jack's pronunciation, so I had to go back and look. I was like, "Mommy, Jack, this looks great." And this is an anime. I've never seen it.
This was on Fox Kids.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't. Those Fox Kids. Those Fox Kids animes was rough for me because
that's why I hated One Piece.
They were some of the first animes out there, man. It was like an OG.
But it wasn't completing the arcs. You'd watch and be like,
Oh, I mean, yeah. For that, yeah.
But it looks great. This is like my cup of tea right here. It looks so dark and edgy, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
that looks dope, man. This is a Netflix, but we got a Ghostbusters Frozen Empire trailer.
Yeah,
we did. We got one.
How you feel about it, Rich?
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
Tell us how you really feel.
Dang, Rich, you just poo today, Rich.
My thing is this. Hold on. We're just going to be talking about how fear is freezing people, frozen in fear. This, that, and the third. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
You can't trust trailers for anything. They don't mean anything.
People
there might not
frozen.
even be icing.
People are frozen in fear.
And what are these kids? These kids in junior high, beginning of high school, they're just leaving wherever they were in Wisconsin and going to New York City to fight ghosts.
Right?
Wouldn't you?
Could be it could be spring break or something, or
no, it's summer vacation.
Oh, actually, no, it was summer vacation.
Yeah. Bananarama playing Cruel Summer. They had me sold. And when I heard Bananarama, I'm like, this is gonna be a banger.
Okay, I'll tell you about some bananas that you want.
Okay.
Hey.
My issue with the trailer was I don't really know who the Ghostbusters are. Like, I still want the Ghostbusters to be a team.
You can only base it off the last shot.
It's like the kids.
It's like the kids and their mom. They're all like they're the official Ghostbusters. So like, I have a problem. I'm gonna call them.
The mom was in there.
The mom was in the last shot
rooftop.
too.
Yeah, in the last shot.
So it feels like they grab proton packs because we have to stop this thing. But like, who are when you call the Ghostbusters and the team shows up? Who is that team that shows up to your front door?
Got to make sure they don't have homework to do. You know, like I can't. I got the tension. I can't do it. You know.
I need to know who the team is. Who is
and
the
in other
team?
trailer news?
And we got yo Rich. That boy's big. That boy's big, and that
boy's so big. No, I can't wait for this content.
Reacher season 2 dropped their trailer.
It's going to be the biggest thing to hit 2020.
He's getting more and more ridiculous.
It's so obnoxious.
Do you guys remember Commando in the 80s?
Yeah.
He was a borderline superhero. Like
yes.
This is it. He picks a car and it activates the airbag. Like
yes, he kicks the front of the car.
But you know what? I'd rather them lean into that than the straight up like Matlock thing they were season 1.
Listen, after season 1,
you get both.
You can only make a thing bigger after you've come off of season 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of impossible to make him bigger, but I mean, he's just getting big.
It looks like he's on Apple boxes.
He's on Apple.
Stop
boxes?
it, Chris. We can't. We allegedly.
An Apple box is a small platform that they'll make someone stand on sometimes.
So, because sometimes the actors don't have the same close enough in height, the eye line could be off.
Right. So they're putting the already big guy on an Apple box.
No, they putting the rest of the crew on Apple boxes. He's just standing.
No, they're
straight.
putting the rest of the crew on their knees to make him look even bigger.
that could have went so many ways. Yo, Warner Brothers shelves the already filmed Coyote versus Acme movie starring John Cena, and it will never be released.
$70 million.
This is crazy.
Why?
I had a year.
No clue.
Tax write-offs.
They had a funeral screening, I heard recently.
Yeah.
Where people who worked on it got to watch it.
And they said it's good. People like insiders said this is a good one. And John Cena's like kind of pissed off about it. And this is not like Batgirl or movies that were going to just stream, that they had a lower budget. Like this was going to be a thing. Right. This is John freaking Cena.
Maybe because they couldn't see him in the screen.
Wow. Rich, give yourself a little doom on that.
Bro, what are you talking about? Say it right now. That was the greatest.
Someone has too much power.
So, as I said, the strikes are over. So Marvel has given us their release date. And Deadpool is the only Marvel film, MCU film, that will be released in 2024. Everything else will be after. Captain America, Brave New World, 2025. Thunderbolts, 2025, July. And Blade, maybe November 7th, 2025. Man. So like Marvel's only going to have, so everybody's like complaining about Marvel having too much content. Well, not in 2024. It won't.
Nope.
So we're not getting an X-Men, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Arcane is getting a season 2, which will debut November 2024.
You know,
Okay.
real talk, Arcane season 1 was one of the best things that dropped that year.
But it's too much time in between. Like, I won't remember what happened. This is like
Which
next
is-
year this time.
They're gonna
Which is,
recap
kind
it.
of which is kind of the problem that Invincible is having for me. I wonder if too much time.
Yeah, that might be my thing too.
And not just too much time, a lot of content in between. It's not like you've had a lot of supplemental superhero or fantasy content. Venom 3 has a new release date. It's being released. And November 8th, 2024, Venom 3. Venom's a trilogy, guys.
Yeah,
it is. And rightfully so.
It is a trilogy.
Rightfully so.
Man, okay. And Kevin Feige has said the X-Men might appear in the MCU perhaps soon. Not in 2020. Well, actually, yeah, in 2024 they will. Deadpool, you got Wolverine in there.
That kind of don't count.
Man. Yo, Rich, Rockstar Games confirms Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have a release date in December. But it's their trailer. A release date for the trailer of Grand Theft Auto 6.
December 2027.
We've been waiting
surprise me. All right.
years for this.
Was it 3 platforms it spanned?
Dude,
Yo.
3 platforms.
Yes, like it's wild. Like it's it's crazy.
kinda crazy.
I took my profile from the Xbox, Xbox One, and then transferred over to the Series X. It's like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
Give us another game. But now we have to anticipate the trailer for that game, which will probably come out in, like Jack said, 2027. Homer Simpson will no longer strangle Bart on The Simpsons anymore.
Come on.
He says to Marge, I don't do that anymore in the last episode. And he won't do that anymore.
Stop it.
So no more child abuse on The Simpsons.
So what is the show going to be about?
I mean, that's how kids are supposed to learn.
Yeah.
I won't co-sign on that. This is on the internet.
Repercussions to your actions. All right.
The Terminator is going to have an anime. The Terminator anime series reads as follows. In 2022, a future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and endless army of machines. In 1997, the AI known as Skynet gained self-awareness and begun its war against humanity. Caught between the future and the past is a soldier sent back in time to change the fate of humanity. She arrives in 1997 to protect the scientist named Malcolm Lee, who works to launch a new AI system designed to compete with Skynet's impending. Richie, wait.
I'm sorry. You say she arrives? So they changing stuff now? What are we doing? Or will she get pregnant to birth the savior of humanity?
Or it's adjacent to what happened already, because apparently that didn't work. Reese going back in time did not work. Skynet still happened. Would it be better if I said a black man went back in time?
First of all, we already know.
We can only go back
black people don't go back in time.
Nope.
Black people, give a black man a time machine. He like, what am I gonna do with this?
Exactly.
I'm going back to 1978. That's my cutoff for 78. Maybe.
Even that's questionable.
Nah, you better not go back before
Geographically questionable.
Nah,
yeah, exactly.
You better stay in 2000. Go back 2022. That's as far as you need to go back. But anyways, it's an anime. I don't know if it's a sequel to the thing. I don't know if it's a reimagining. Who knows? But yeah, she arrived, but she's protecting Skynet's competitor because he's creating a more complex. Yeah.
So wait. So we got one AI that's going to take over, but we got to protect this AI over here.
Yeah, it's the Matrix.
I mean, it is the Matrix. I didn't write it. That's the news. I'm sick of you guys.
That was the news.
Rich, you know what? I've been waiting all day to say this. Stop laughing.
Yeah, right.
It's time to get serious. It's time for a debate.
Just for you.
That's the wrong sound cue. It's not even the right sound cue.
I'm tired of this. I don't know what you guys have done with this show.
Well, Rich is done.
Well, all the fanboys are screaming out, MCU is in shambles. It's done. You guys ruined everything. If that is true, if the MCU is in shambles, then I would like to know how you would fix it. You can't go back in time. You can't change what's already been done. But you now have the keys to the kingdom. How would you fix the MCU?
Easy.
In detail.
Easy. Now I keep it simple. 3 easy things. 1, you take that mouse money and you take as much as it takes and you go get Spider-Man back.
This is what I told you yesterday. You're stealing my idea.
Wait, is this your idea?
I literally said the same exact thing.
Wow. He's like, oh,
Okay.
is this what you said? It came to me in a dream.
This is why you don't talk.
It came to me in a dream last night.
2, you have to make all the stakes actually matter from this point on. Anything you do in any of the content or content adjacent content, which operates in the same MCU universe, actually has to
But
matter.
you got to be specific. I don't think they're sitting around. But I don't think they're sitting around the table saying, "Let's make this not matter." They're just making mistakes. So how would you fix it? So how do you fix it?
I would. You got to funnel it.
You're
just
gonna walk in and
Feige.
He's gonna walk in and say, "Make it matter," and you're gonna go, "Okay,
make it matter." That's it.
Sure.
I'm gonna keep it simple. Keep it. And then I'd say, the product is the details. Make it matter. And the third thing that I would do is I would.
This dramatic pause. Jack, you're talking in such vague terms.
All right. Well, what would you do?
No. The best answer you gave them was the one I told you yesterday, and everything else is make it matter.
That's what I mean. You gotta make it matter.
But I know, but they're not trying not to make it matter. So how would
I don't
you fix
know
it?
that they're trying to make it matter.
I don't think they're like, hey, let's flush $1 billion down the toilet and confuse everybody.
They 100% are. Like,
yeah,
they are, but they're not trying to. So how would you fix it? What would your notes be? You wouldn't just say make it matter.
Well, that is a note though. Like it has to matter. For example, I'll give examples that aren't about the content we're talking about today.
No, but you're the head of Marvel. You're implementing a plan. You're saying this is the blueprint. This is where we're going forward.
Yes.
I want something a little bit more specific than make it matter.
Well, for example, this is a little bit of a spoiler. In the Loki season 2, they talk about the Kang from Ant-Man. And they talk about the Kang from Ant-Man in a way that tells you absolutely nothing there matters. They don't say the quantum realm, but they say, there was a little flare up in realm, what 0.876, whatever it was. But it was no big deal. And they talk about it in such a way where instantly I know it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. None of it has consequence.
So what would you do to make it matter? That's my question. Not just make it matter, but what would you do? You're in charge. So what would you do to make it matter?
Something that happens in one thing has to affect the thing in the next thing. It has to matter. This is my lack of vocabulary. It's the only word I can use to describe it, but it must matter. For example, if the Hulk says in the Thor movie, I'm scared that if I turn into the Hulk again, I'll die and I'll never come back. Bruce Banner says this. And then they jump him off a plane where he doesn't turn into the Hulk. He splats into the bridge, and then 3 frames later, he's the Hulk. And suddenly, all the stakes that Bruce Banner was running around with just don't matter. Thor loses his entire family in Asgard, and they throw the whole thing away for a cheap laugh in that particular film. It doesn't matter to him until 3 films later, and it's only in one scene. It's like their stakes just don't actually matter. And Kang is a really good example where in the Loki season 1, they set it up where, man, this is the point of no return. You look at the Doctor Strange stuff. Every single thing that happens in that movie just doesn't matter. Even Scarlet Witch at the end of the movie. They don't even commit to the fact that well, one, it's character assassination on her character, but then two, they kill her, but they don't actually kill her.
So how would you fix it?
Moving forward, we have to be whatever choices we're making, we're married to them, so they matter.
So that probably means less content. Because
That's fine. Less content, content that matters, as long as it's you almost got to Game of Thrones it. If you kill a character off, you got to suffer the repercussions and figure it out. If we make this choice, you got to suffer the repercussions and figure it out. But you can't just hit the multiverse reset every single time, and then suddenly even that doesn't matter anymore. So I know it feels vague, but it would have to specifically, everything have to actually just start mattering.
It's a little vague, but I understand what you're saying.
All right.
I understand what you're saying.
Rich is out.
I'll take it. So
Rich is just done.
First thing I would do is I go for a cheap cash grab. I would have the X-Men in the MCU. Number two.
Wait. Go back. You would have the what? X-Men in the MCU.
MCU. I'd have an X-Men movie.
How?
Standalone X-Men movie.
How?
Picking up. How? I don't know. You just pick up. We would just pick up as the X-Men already established.
So you're saying mutants have been here this whole time?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. We're starting to see mutants. I don't know. I got right.
No, but this is the part of the equation because you can't erase what came before.
Wait, say again? I'm not erasing it. Yeah. So, or they've always been there, but they've never been a big part where they've never been recognized as such a big.
They're like the
Eternals.
Yeah, they were there. They were always there. They were just never acknowledged.
This doesn't make any sense, though, Chris.
No, this makes any sense.
But you have to make it make sense to the geeks.
Now, what you could do is say, once the multiverse Pandora's box, which has been open in 3 different contents, is open, now you're in a realm where X-Men can exist, and you could just simply shift the narrative to one of those other places.
I guess. I just don't want that, though. Nah, I don't want that.
You can't. I don't think you can just drop the X-Men in the MCU as if they've always been there. Like, here's the X-Men. Because we've had too many. We've had decades of the MCU.
Yes,
and we would now be throwing flags reviewing that content right now.
Right,
going like, so Wolverine's been alive since the
1914,
and he's go ahead.
Yeah, or you pick up the X-Men as if they're forming now. You know, mutants are starting to show up, and they're forming the X-Men now. And then you have the X-Men.
That's what they were doing with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in the first place.
Yeah. No, they weren't. They weren't mutants though.
They couldn't call them mutants because of the right.
So they got their powers. They got their powers from one of the stones.
So
then later they rebooted it and said it was always in her. The stone activated it.
Or something.
Right. But at the time they couldn't touch the mutants.
But that's been my first thing. My second thing is Marvel's the most successful is when they have a definitive villain and a definitive goal. If you look at all the phases,
I actually disagree with you.
No, I don't think so. Because if you look at this most recent phase,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we look at this most recent phase where we thought this phase was going to be about the multiverse, and it just kind of just fell apart.
But if you go back and watch the phases, Marvel didn't succeed on our anticipation of Thanos. They spread them around like breadcrumbs that led into it. We watched them fight Loki. We watched them fight Ultron. We watched them fight so many other villains that eventually led to Thanos. But it wasn't but they didn't market it like Thanos is coming. No,
they did though. It always kind of felt like you were building towards him.
Yeah,
but like it took them 12 movies to get there, so they weren't dependent upon that fight to make it successful. They built the Avengers, and we cared about the Avengers.
But the anticipation that we knew that something was building to an insurmountable thing that was going to happen.
But they never had to go. They never gave us a 5-year plan that said Avengers versus Thanos. No, they didn't because at the end of the day,
we didn't know when it was going to happen. We just knew that
it was going to happen.
And I think people who aren't fanboys, they weren't going crazy over this tag of this close-up of some purple guy. They just love seeing the Avengers together. So they're down to see this team fight anybody.
Yeah, but we're burnt out from that. We need to have a definitive, and I thought that's what Kang was going to be. I
We all
thought
thought
Kang
that
was
was.
going to be, yeah, it was going to be this big bad that it just never materialized. And I
This
think with when you have all these movies that play up to this, building up to this huge arc, and the arc goes nowhere, this is why we're in the slump we're in with
You know,
Marvel.
if I'm being honest, the Kang, and I know we're moving forward, not moving backward, but here's an
Mhm.
example of making it matter. If nothing else came out of the Doctor Strange movie, that should have actually probably been our first instance of setting Pandora's box of Kang loose onto the thing.
And we're gonna get into my answer pretty soon. But Kang doesn't matter if I don't know the heroes I'm rooting for to fight him in the first
Yeah,
place.
you're right about that.
It always goes. It has to
You're
be
right.
about the Avengers, and Marvel has never been known for having the best of villains in comic books. That goes to DC. Marvel has compelling heroes. So screw Kang. It could be Kang. It could be Doctor Doom. It could be anybody. Give me the team that I'm gonna watch. So Chris, that's why I'm like, I don't think fixing your villain will solve the problem. I
No,
don't.
but how you depict a villain really does create problems or solve problems also. And Gore is a good example of that. If you look at the hierarchy of power, Gore is actually one of the top 20 most powerful characters that have ever existed in Marvel.
Right.
And he's kind of
A throwaway almost.
He's a throwaway.
yeah.
But I just think the biggest miss with this phase was that they built us up to this huge arc that never materialized. And we
Well,
saw
still
like
has
we saw it in Spider-Man, and we saw what the potential could be, and we thought it was going to continue with Doctor Strange and then with
well,
Ant-Man, and
But
it just
but the thing about that is like the multiverse isn't a plot. It's not a
well,
story. It's
well
just a destination. It's
here's
what you
another
do
thing.
with it.
finished.
It's what you do with it. So right in Invincible, we know we'll see the multiverse. It's not about the multiverse. It's about this guy having all this knowledge and now he's all twisted. In Flashpoint, it's like I want to save my mom and I create this other Earth and I got to get out of it. The multiverse is not a plot point. And the MCU is like, we're doing the multiverse. I'm like, what about it? It's just different Earths. What are you saying about it? What do you want? And they haven't made a decision on what the story is. The TVA is watching over it. Okay. Spider-Man brought people in from another world. Okay. The multiverse is not a plot point. It's just a device. It's an effect. It's a
But
location.
it could have. I mean, if Kang were more consequential, it could have been, and that's kind of what they
They
had
could have
set up.
used it. Yeah.
But also, we have been conditioned through the Marvel content that when we get past the movie to this post credit segment, it used to be that they're giving us, something that's going to weave the next part of the story together.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just not the case. We get these post credit blurbs that ultimately kind of don't pay any kind of dividends in the later content.
I think they were just throwing stuff against the wall in the beginning and they just were hitting targets every time. At the end of
Well,
the Avengers, they said we're going to throw Thanos at the end of it. How are we going to get to Thanos? I will figure it out in 10 movies. It's just that they so happen to like hit the mark every time, but that strategy is not working anymore. You
all
actually
right,
need
Lawrence,
long.
let's hear the strategy that works.
Well, I'll go fine. Marvel's always, I told you this, Jack. Marvel's always been about the Avengers. It's always about the heroes. The villains are not better than the heroes. And we can't go forward until we know who our Avengers are. We need we need to go back to phase one, standalone movies to get us care about the characters, and then we jump with excitement when we find out they're teaming up. Figure out who those core characters are. You can still have characters on the outside too, but we need that core. If I were to ask you guys who are in the Avengers, we'd all kind of scratch our heads and we'd be playing a guessing game. And we saw an image at the end of Endgame, but it hasn't lived up to it yet. So I would create the Avengers. Who are my Avengers? I would grab, of course, Spider-Man, the heart of the team, Captain Marvel, the muscle, Shuri, the brain, freaking Black Captain America, the leader, and Black Cap. And I would grab and I probably would grab Peter Quill. He's on Earth. throw Peter Quill in there. He'll take that Hawkeye spot. So I have like my Avengers team, and I would create movies to make you care about them. They'll team up and fight bad guys. Not Kang right away. Throw somebody in there like an Ultron or something to see them work as a team and be dysfunctional. And then eventually, when they fight Kang, you're not excited just because this villain showed up. You're excited because it's that moment in Avengers 1 when they circled up. They could have been fighting Loki. They could have been fighting anybody. It didn't matter. They circled up on the streets. I would have to create that anticipation from there. So I would slow production down on everything else. I make Disney Plus shows strictly about street level heroes. Freaking Ms. Marvel is in Jersey City. Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen. Like, that's what Disney Plus is for. The people that it's not world ending
it worked for
seasons.
that. You know who did a good job with that? Netflix did a good job when they put that together. They put the Defenders together. We were hyped for that. Because
we were hyped for that.
You weren't. You didn't like Defenders?
The problem with Defenders for me was the entire content was focused around Iron Fist, who was the weakest link of all of the characters for me. And then they took the group dynamic and they focused it around that character. Which,
he was
spoiler alert, and I've said this before, at the end of Iron Fist season 1, he discovers he's got a second fist.
He does discover he has a second fist.
That doesn't tell you what the content.
But to Chris's point, to watch these heroes face threats that aren't like going to destroy the world.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
They don't need to call the Avengers when Miss
Right.
Marvel's trying to save Jersey City. So it makes sense you're not seeing crossovers with the TV shows all the time. But it don't make sense to me why the TVA's not showing up when Doctor Strange has this girl with them that can go through freaking different Earths like it's with a snap. And she's just eating meatballs on different pizza balls on different Earths. And the TVA is like, we shouldn't check her out. We shouldn't just like make sure she don't mess nothing up.
But that's what I'm talking about. Things don't matter.
So I would slow it down. They need to slow down, build their Avengers, and then eventually, if Kang is even right, I'm like, don't even create the villain that you think they need to fight against until you figure out who your squad is. The villain is only supposed to make the hero become more heroic. How can you decide the villain if you don't know who the heroes are? Like, they're just supposed to. I mean, that's why Thanos works so well, because he was smarter than Tony, stronger than Thor, he beasted Hulk. Like, if they found someone they couldn't outwit, the heroes. So that's what I would do. I would slow this whole. I throw that werewolf dude in my new Avengers team. I throw them. Hey, they'd be freaking hilarious. And yeah, that's what I would do. And Jeffrey, only Deadpool next year. Only Deadpool next year, right? They need to. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's good. I'm sure it will be. It'll be funny if anything else.
It'll be good.
Rich.
Yeah.
How would you save the MCU?
Fire everyone is writing crappy scripts right now, and find people rigorous interview process. Find people that understand the content in which they're going to be writing for each show. Pretty much what you're going to do: slow down all of the content they're putting out there. Let everything in Disney Plus, like lower level stuff, and then all the major events are going to be in the movies. And then again, like you said, who's fighting who? Like, we don't have a team right now. We just got a bunch of individuals doing things. And then they're trying to make this team with the Marvels, which was a fizzle.
I liked it.
Fizzle. I don't care what you like. You like everything. You're
I don't like everything. I don't like everything.
Glass half empty type of guy. All right. Of course. Half full. Whatever. That's it. Yeah.
He's got a glass and it's got liquid in it.
It got liquid in it. He's like, I'm good.
Tequila, baby.
Anyway, yeah, you're gonna need tequila for this movie. Anyway, yeah. So we need a team, and we don't have a team. So how are we gonna have like a big bad? Like, especially with Kang. Like, how are you gonna have the Ant team fight Kang, and he's supposed to be like this major dude that took down multiple Avengers in multiple universes.
Yeah.
But then he got boxed up by a thug. Come on.
Right. So the next movie, whatever we have, we need to actually see the Kang we're afraid of.
Yes.
Because these glimpses at him aren't making them stronger.
Nah, they're making them look whack. To be honest with you.
Well, we'll talk about Kang when we get to
that. So they again, Disney Plus, lower level stuff, your series, whatever, have a team focus on that. Maybe they might intercept with the movies and stuff like that, but anything that happens there, not a major deal. right? But
Yeah.
the movies, like that's going to build a team. That's where all the major events happen. That's where we get to the major villain, and then we fight.
Can you imagine like that Avengers team I just described? They're fighting, and all of a sudden Thor drops in, but he kind of drops in like the Guardians dropped in. He's doing cosmic adventures, and he links up with this new team, and he's like, "Oh, you're the new guys, okay." He looks at Peter. He doesn't even recognize Peter Parker because no one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. Because that has to matter.
Right.
That decision that
Yeah.
was dope at the end of No Way Home
Mm.
actually set Spider-Man up in a terrible way going forward. But yeah, it's just that's what I think. So I guess I won the debate. Good job, guys.
All right, and moving on
Let's
to
go.
the main.
All right, we got several main events here, guys. But first up, we're going to talk about that Loki finale.
All right, let's talk about how. Oh, are we going spoiler free first?
Spoiler free. I thought it was powerful and also forgettable.
Well, spoiler free.
Oh wow.
It's the biggest event of all Marvel content that's ever been created. And it kind of doesn't matter.
It's nice to see a complete story arc from the very, very beginning of Marvel till the dumpster fire it is now. So
Wow.
Dang, Chris.
Yeah, it's good to see that something actually ended on not really a good note, but they completed something. They finished.
All right, let's spoil Loki
Good job.
season finale.
All right. So we're not doing the typical recap here, but just to give you some context, Loki came back at the beginning of the beginning of the season. Yada, yada, yada. The TVA is in danger. Kang is real. He's coming. We got to figure something out. Loki can time
Kang
slip.
isn't
Not Kang, the He Who Remains. At
Thank
this
you.
point, if you've never
Kang
seen the
doesn't
show,
exist in Loki.
if you haven't seen the show and you're jumping in for this finale talk back, I ain't got nothing
spoilers,
for you.
Patty. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers are coming.
Spoilers.
So
Enjoy it.
we pick up with Loki in this episode. They're trying to figure out how to get the loom together. They need to stop the branches from pretty much just destroying themselves.
Episode's
And
Groundhog's Day.
it's Groundhog's Day.
Very
and
much so, yeah.
They find out their plan didn't work. Loki figures out the episode before this, conveniently figures out the one extra power he got this season works perfectly for this part. Talk about convenience, just right there. The power he just obtained is the exact thing he needs. Spoilers, Jeffrey. We're spoiling it.
So we're gonna go from Loki, then we're gonna jump into the Marvels, then we're gonna finish up with
Blue-Eyed Samurai.
So we're gonna jump 3 contents.
So Loki pretty much just, like Jack said, Groundhog Day. He keeps going back in time to figure out how to fix this thing. He spends centuries, guys. That's pretty great. Centuries learning about the quantum science on how to build this thing, and it still doesn't work. He meets the guy who he remains silent. What's his name? He may remain silent.
He who remains.
He who remains.
He who remains.
Who do you add stuff for?
He talks a lot.
You may. Yeah. And then he learns that nothing he does matters. The only thing he can do is kill Sylvie. That's to kill Sylvie before she kills him, because he goes back to the end of season 1.
Now, what's interesting is we also find out that Kang knew this was happening all the time. He's the one who gave Loki the ability to time slip.
Not Kang, He Who Remains.
You're right. He Who Remains gave Loki the ability to time slip, and he's put all his cards on the fact that after Loki figures out what he's going to do, this villain will act like a villain and kill the other Loki variant, thus saving the timeline.
But what he doesn't know is that Loki has grown a heart in the duration of this season.
And he had friends.
Because that's all we need, Chris. That's what stops a super terrorist from being bad anymore, is just a group of friends. So basically, he goes out there, he goes to the loom, he becomes, what's the term he always say? I'm burdened by purpose. I'm burdened. He has a thing that Loki always said, but we always took it as like a pompous, grandiose thing. Like, I'm burdened by greatness. I'm burdened by my purpose, something. But it turns out, like, to be burdened by your purpose is to be here in solitary confinement, all alone. When we learn that he doesn't want to be alone, to hold the branches in place.
Yeah. So we see Loki go. So they're trying to save it. They're trying to have Victor Timely save it. They go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to save it, and then at the end we see Loki go through it, and he's just grabbing the branches. And as he's grabbing them, we see the Loki energy flow through the branches. And at the very end, we see Loki finally gets his throne, sits on his throne, holding all the branches together.
What did you guys?
He tethers them to himself in his cape and it's all just a part of him. It's flowing through. He
becomes a tree.
Loom.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, a tree. Yeah, he becomes a tree.
What did you guys think?
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And what's interesting about it is it honestly does not matter for the grand scheme of things, but it is the grandest thing that happens in any of the content. This is more monumental than Thanos snapping. He literally saves all of existence.
But it's not more monumental than Tony snapping, right?
It is. Well, it's as self-sacrificing, and you're looking at a character who goes from...
Tony's dead. It's not more self-sacrificing.
I mean, technically, he's out of the picture. Like, he can't leave where he is.
But for now, until he figures a way out.
Well, not this. That's debatable, but it's not this version, right? Here's the thing about, and here's the conundrum with Marvel making things not matter. This is we are literally watching the story of an alternate version of Loki anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This isn't necessarily the Loki from the content that we know. Although he got
his neck snapped by Thanos.
Right.
That's right. Right. So this is a Loki extracted from the content before he killed his mother.
Right.
But they, in season 1, they tell him, "No, you're terrible, and you're going to kill your mother." He's like, "I'm not going to kill my mom." So, but we see but he does do the stuff in New York, right? So we see this horrible villain turned anti-hero, turned hero, turned
sacrificial lamb.
Sacrificial lamb, right? He martyrs himself on some level in order to accomplish the greater good.
And that's the thing I don't buy at all. It's his Tom Hiddleston's performance makes me buy anything. The acting is superb. But when I look at it on paper, this intergalactical terrorist that killed hundreds of thousands of people in New York is capable of that?
Well,
I don't buy it.
No, but he grew a heart.
He grew a catch.
Rick. Now your glass half full.
Well, I'll also say this. If you look at the content, he actually spends more time, centuries, in the TVA than he did.
Does he? How old is Loki?
I don't think he's centuries.
316 years old.
Thank you. So he's not centuries. So he's actually...
That is centuries. Thank you, Chris. Why are we listening to Chris? But we talk about Superman all the time. And we get mad when he acts uncharacteristically because we're like, he doesn't have that in him. That's just not who he is.
Yeah.
Loki is rotten.
Yes, but the loophole is this. It's two things. Loki MCU, they always found a way to give him levity and eventually heart, and they made him more and more and more Thor's brother.
And I never bought it. That guy killed hundreds of thousands of people in New York City. He doesn't have a heart.
He's always been self-serving. And that's what actually changes.
He has he doesn't have humanity. And the content, and Jack, you hate this when they make anti-heroes out of villains, like they did it. And we're masked by it because of the performance.
But what you say? It wasn't like an overnight thing. We've been seeing it throughout the Marvel MCU.
We haven't. This Loki only started having those experiences with the TVA. He was evil in Avengers, and they picked him up from there. He didn't have all that other stuff we saw him in the other movies. He only had his experience.
They fast-tracked this Loki's character development in two ways.
In a montage.
They bombarded him with all the horrible things he's going to do, killing his mother being at the top of it. And then he actually finds something that no other Loki variant has ever found. Love.
Love
and you watch
and
any
friend.
content every content that's ever existed, the second it becomes a love story, Lawrence, that love triumphs everything, and he finds love with Sylvie, and so
Yeah.
that's why this Loki is so different.
So he fell
It's
in
like,
love with himself.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
but it's like
that's
Neo in the
perfect for
Matrix,
his character.
It's not
right?
like Neo in the Matrix. It'd be like
It's like Neo in the
it
Matrix,
would
where
be like
he
Lex
experienced.
Luthor killed half of Metropolis, but then he found his girlfriend from high school, and now he's good now, and we're gonna celebrate him.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean by Neo in the Matrix is that version of the one experienced his connection to humanity through a single person as opposed to humanity, which is why
Right,
he
but
manifested differently.
the fact that we're giving Loki humanity at all is my point. And I rock with it, but it's one of those things that doesn't matter. If we actually looked at his consequences like he was Zod in Man of Steel and actually made it matter, we wouldn't be down with this finale. But since they
But I'll
don't
say
make the
this.
consequence, but since they don't make Loki's actual acts of violence matter, it's easy to accept him being a hero. But if they actually showed us the people that he killed and how vicious it was in the attacks in New York, we would
Right.
not be like,
Well,
oh,
you
he's a
kind of do
tree.
get a sense of that. I mean, Kate loses her entire family. You know,
Who's Kate?
Kate, who's Kate?
Kate Bishop.
We finally got to see a casualty from this. We got to see a casualty from New York 10 years later in
That's right.
the Hawkeye Christmas
Yeah.
series.
Right.
But
Now,
my point,
I will say this, Lawrence. If they took Zod, and I don't know how they would do it, but if they took Zod from that movie and somehow found a way of making him the savior of the planet, I believe Michael Shannon is good enough an actor like Tom Hiddleston where I'm gonna go, wow, they found a way to give him total character
no,
reversal.
you would do that, but we wouldn't be having these warm, fuzzy feelings. We'd be like, wow, what a turn.
But
But
I
we
don't know
wouldn't
that
be.
warm fuzzy because ultimately his sacrifice is punishment.
Loki has remained charming. He is such a like we like him.
Yeah,
Tom
but
Hiddleston.
he was charming in Avengers 1 when he's like, I'll have that drink now. He was still
Yes.
charming.
He was always charming.
No, but that's my point because the MCU does not like to make bad guys bad. They don't
Nobody
like.
does.
They don't like
Look at
DC.
Venom.
DC got no problem. DC will make
Venom.
DC will make their heroes bad. But
Yes,
I felt like this content ran in circles. Could have been done in 2 episodes, really. But the writing and the acting and the directing was so good. But when we peel this thing back, I feel like a lot of it felt like it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter in the content that it's in. Like, why did they all found out that they actually have homes and they're staying at the TVA? Why? Go home. You have Owen Wilson. You got kids.
You got kids.
But
Yeah.
here's the,
It doesn't make any
he
sense.
does go back at the end, and there's another version of him raising the kids. So it doesn't even matter that he left the
No,
timeline.
he still has a timeline that he left.
Well, was
Right?
that timeline pruned? Did they remove that timeline?
No, I think it's all. It's
No,
it's
I think they
fixed.
jumped. I think when they jumped to an earlier part where he was still there.
All
Yeah,
right.
but there's
So-
a timeline where his kids like your daddy's not home.
Final
He never came back.
final remarks, gentlemen, so we can talk about more content that doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. The performances are great. I thought Loki's one of those shows that feels like it's really smart, and then you look at it, it's like nothing is actually happening. And one last thing, I hate when villains like He Who Remains says, "I've been writing it all along." So like anything that like is a plot hole, you can just have one character say, "I meant for that to happen."
Yeah.
You have this power that's super convenient, and you're going to need it right at this nick of time. Who do you think gave that to you? It's such a cop out. It's a cop out. It's such a cop out. Sorry, I'm done.
Eh.
Rich, final remarks?
Yeah, I mean, I would watch it because the acting is great in it. Story, it's a little weak. But I'm glad that they wrapped it up, even though it's not going to mean anything.
Chris, final remarks?
I thought it was a good time. I thought it was different than a lot of the content we're seeing. It actually gave us an actual multiverse, which is cool. So yeah, I'm about it.
Kind of give us an actual
Did it?
multiverse. Jack, final remarks. Listen, honestly, I think it is the biggest event that's happened in the MCU, not MCU. It's weird how it matters more than anything else and subsequently doesn't matter at all. And the way he goes back and forth through time constantly tells you that just nothing matters until the end, and even the end just tells you that everything continues moving forward. So, but the thing that is different at the end of this is there's more multiverse timelines because they're no longer confined by the box that was preserving the main timeline. So now the multiverse actually really should exist on a whole nother level. So it's weird that Strange was able to go through the multiverse before this happened because the
Don't
multiverse
even try and tie Strange.
No,
back.
what the girl, her powers were she can open up portals pretty much.
Yeah, but hang on. But look at this. This whole series is about preserving the sacred
timeline.
And the way they preserve the sacred timeline is by pruning all offshoot timelines. So there's no other timeline other than the sacred timeline.
But
so
like
the multiverse
series,
doesn't actually exist until the end of the series.
Wait
a minute.
Not
the
true.
multiverse doesn't even exist until the end of the series.
We saw all the branches before the end of the series.
But there were other branches, but they had to keep them in check. So there were other branches when we started.
There were always other branches,
but very few. Anyways,
Sylvie's not from the same Earth as this Loki, right? Like they're different.
You're right. No, that's true.
Branches.
That's true. But they
basically what they showed you was the loom is holding the branches. We got to get rid of the TVA. Oops, no, we need the TVA. The loom is being destroyed. Loki is now the loom. It kind of starts exactly from where it left off. Not much has changed.
The scaling changes. The scaling problem is what changes.
But it doesn't change for any of the characters that matter. Like it's just things go back to business as usual.
Well, that matters yet. And so I go back to this.
Right, except for Loki.
If everything, well, not even Loki. This is a variant Loki doing a variant Loki.
So nothing at the end of this series changed. This variant Loki was going to prison anyway.
My brain hurts.
You're right. All right. So let's talk about
Let's get into the Marvels. We're getting into the Marvels. Spoiler free.
Way too excited for this.
It was good, man. It was good.
Spoiler free thoughts.
Those are your gonads talking, Rich. Just talk them.
Wow. I'll go first. Spoiler free. I enjoy the movie. I thought the relationship dynamics were fun, and that at the end of it, the movie is just very inconsequential. It also kind of doesn't matter. Not giving anything away. I didn't understand this villain choice at all. You're putting a group of people together to combat a villain, and I didn't understand the choice the movie makes. And we'll jump into that specifically when we talk about the content.
I liked it. I felt like it was one of those in-betweeners for Marvel. Like when they just want you to get to know the hero. It's not so much about
it was the Ant-Man.
I wouldn't say it's the Ant-Man. It felt like phase one-ish. Like we just want you to get to know who these heroes are. We're not really doubling down on what's coming next. It's just we want you to get to know who these are because you're going to see them again.
I agree with that.
We already know who they are, though. We saw them separately on their own. We didn't need to see them again.
I don't disagree with that.
Man, listen.
I don't disagree with that, Rich. Tell me how you feel, Rich.
How do I think of what? Listen, if I was a teenage girl, I would have absolutely enjoyed this.
He's just trying to get us canceled.
You are a teenage girl. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. All right, sir. I don't identify as a teenage girl. Thank you very much for misgendering me. Jeez.
Wow, that's offensive, Lawrence.
Very offensive.
You owe Rich an apology.
I 100% did not really like this. To be honest with you, man. There was a lot going on here. I was like, why? Why are we doing any of this? That's it.
All right, Chris. Spoiler free.
It was actually better than I thought it was going to be, and I've never wanted to hug someone as bad as Betty White. Like Betty White, I always want to hug Betty White really, really bad because she just was mad huggable. But I want to hug Captain Marvel so bad. She's adorable. The little girl, the girl who plays Captain
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel.
Miss Marvel. She's
Oh,
adorable.
it's like, where are you going with this Betty White thing?
Betty White.
Well, this is how I felt about Betty White. I just want to hug Betty White. I want to hug the Iman. What's her name? That plays Miss Marvel because
Viviana Reyes
fell
says
asleep.
that Viv
My
says
question
she fell
is-
I
asleep.
can co-sign that. She was sitting next to me. She was sleeping.
It's all right.
And how do you feel about Chris wanting to hug these
Betty
characters?
White.
Betty White, yeah.
I want to hug Betty White. Have I hugged Betty White?
Betty White was in
Betty
the movie.
White was
Like,
not.
That's
Sorry,
like, who is
Jeffrey.
Betty White? What? I see now. I got to Google.
She was
it.
the mom on Golden Girls.
You don't know who
Yeah,
Betty
she
White
was
was?
not in this.
I know who Betty White was.
She's not in this. I don't know where Rich went.
She's not in
Chris
this. I'm
went
just
with
saying.
this.
I've just never felt the.
He could have said you.
The only other compulsion I felt is to hug Betty White, and I felt the compulsion to hug the girl.
What is that
Marvel.
reference?
All right.
I don't get it.
Let's
Can
spoil
we-
this
So-
content. So, spoilers
very-
for the Marvels.
Very light recap, and they're just going to talk about it. So I missed the first 10 minutes. Somebody to the beginning. I couldn't find parking. Basically, you find this bad guy. She has a hammer that looks very familiar. She is trying to get her planet the resources to live. Something
She's
happened
Kree.
where she's Kree. Yeah. So she's Kree. The Krees, the Marvels, the three of them touch this temporal blah 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 that is united their powers. Every time they use them at the same time, they switch places. They have to work together to stop. What's her, whatever her name is? I forgot her name.
Actually, no, not a temporal. They touch. Well, one touch. They both touch the jump gate. They touch. Well,
the jump.
Miss Marvel and what's her name?
Captain
Spectre?
Marvel.
Captain Marvel
Spectre. Monica
what's that-
Rambeau.
What's the other one? Monica
Rambeau.
Rambeau, whatever.
Her name.
Captain
She's the only
Rambeau,
brown one.
whatever. Anyway, she
She's
needs
brown.
therapy. Anyway, they touch fragments of the jump gates, which is linked to the element of the bracelet or the bangle that Miss Marvel has,
Miss Marvel.
Right,
which
and
then connects them together.
The science, it's like
reason.
it's reasons. And basically, they work together to stop this bad guy from going to different planets.
So at the beginning of the movie, what you
Very
missed was,
brief recap, though.
right? So Miss Marvel, who you'll only have context context for if you watched the Disney movie, she's got a bangle, gives her powers. Here's the first 10 minutes you missed. There's a second bangle. And the girl with the giant destroyer hammer from the Avenger movies, from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, how she got it, who knows? We do find out. But she goes onto this planet, looks like a moon, and finds the second. Rita Repulsa? Yes.
Yeah.
Rita
sure.
finds the second bangle. She uses that power of the bangle fused with the hammer staff thing to create jump gates. When she does, the bangle correlates with Miss Marvel's bangle, creating a tether. And when Captain Marvel and Rambeau touch the jump gate, they're interweaving. What's weird about it, though, is why the lady with the hammer, Rita, isn't also somehow tethered to them, because her power is the same as Miss Marvel.
No, because Jack, that would make too much sense. So they didn't do it.
But also, we saw Miss Marvel. She has powers without the bracelet.
She does. The bracelet does not give her powers because they actually took the bracelet off from her at one point.
She still had powers.
Still has the power.
So the power they're connected to is inside of her, not just the bracelet. How? I don't know. I forgot that part in Miss Marvel series. So basically, they work together. They got to stop her from stopping the resources. They do so, but it blows pretty much.
So Viv just time out. Viv just walked into the movie theater and fell right to sleep.
Yeah,
that might be part of mommy duty.
Yeah,
like we might have something else going on that day.
Burning the candle at both ends. So,
but so basically, they wind up stopping her, the three of them, and not without there being a hole blown in the freaking space-time continuum, and they see a whole nother Earth on the other side because multiverse.
You jump right to the end of it.
Well, it's a quick recap, so we can talk about this. We're talking about three separate things.
It's not a multiverse. What the Bengals did was create the actual jump gate network.
But it opens up
into another
rift. It's just she like that, and they're like, "Don't do it; it's going to destroy you." And she's like, "Oh no, I'll do it anyway."
And then it opened up a rift into another Earth, multiverse.
Right. Which, if you stayed for the post-credit scene, you'll understand why we're
I'm
saying
about to
it's
get right there
alternate.
because we just quick
Just
recap.
go,
So
go,
basically,
do it.
Monica
Get there,
Rambeau's like, I have to close it from the inside. She goes there. She does so. You know, you got freaking Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel kind of mourning the loss of her friend, knowing she's out there somewhere where they'll never get her back. And then we see Monica Rambeau wake up. She sees her mom, who she thought was dead. Her mom is like, I don't know you, chill. And then we see Beast walk in from the X-Men looking like the animated series, Rich.
Like,
I missed that part.
Grammar too.
What did you? It sound like
no,
walked
Captain
out.
but it was like straight out of X-Men '96.
You didn't stay for the mid after all that, Rich. You didn't wind up sticking around.
I stayed for the mid credits. I didn't stay for the end
No,
credits.
that's the mid credit. That is the mid credit.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I must have missed that. Nah,
Yeah,
I didn't see that part.
Yes, Beast. X-Men.
Beast.
So they rip a hole through the fabric of multiverses,
Yes, Connie,
and she
Beast.
ends up in the X-Men's world.
X-Men's world.
Yeah,
Because
correct. A X-Men world, because we've seen other versions of
X-Men
X-Men.
in different multiverses and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I'll agree that the ending credit was probably more interesting than the film,
No, it wasn't.
but probably
I fell for
equally
this before.
inconsequential.
Well, let's talk about it. That's the recap. Let's talk about it.
So the best part of this movie was Miss Marvel, because she was like, it's like you dropped a fanboy or fangirl into the Marvel universe, and she's just geeking out the entire movie.
That's why I watched Miss Marvel. That's why I watched the series. That's why I watched the series, because it wasn't like the story kind of goes like that. Feels a little complicated, but she's always charming.
Goose is adorable and still is the show.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
cat.
She stole the whole movie.
The cat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
no.
I guess.
No, Ms. Marvel
the cat
stole
was
the.
Funny.
Okay. Was it?
That cat part was just convenient.
That cat part felt like that side quest in the movie game, in the video game, that I never want to play. That it's there, that I have to play. So now we're doing the main campaign. Now we gotta do
honestly,
the
they didn't even need it. You know, it's not like the spaceship blew up. It's just
no, you did need it, Jack. They needed it because the cat swallowed everyone, and they were able to get onto one escape pod because of the cat.
It was funny,
but it
was a beast story.
The ship didn't blow up though. Like it.
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't do anything.
They didn't
it
need to do any of it. Like no one had to actually get swallowed.
They could just stay there and been fine.
Yes.
Yeah. No, so we didn't have to.
They had to destroy the integrity of the ship. It didn't blow up, but the integrity of the ship was destroyed. They had to evacuate.
You're saying the cats was the reason that they had to get off in the first place?
When they were all hatching, their eggs were like all over the ship, intertwined. They're like, "What is that?" It was messing up.
I don't think it damaged the ship. I just think they just didn't know what it was. They just found
Well, there's a reason why they escaped the ship.
There was no reason for it though. They could have stayed on that ship.
Connie, I'm sorry. Cats are not the best. Cats, if you were to die, your cat would actually eat your face in like 5 minutes. Facts. Cats are demonic.
It'll take a little bit longer. Maybe like 5 weeks.
No, it won't. A dog will eat you in 5 weeks if he goes hungry. Your cat is eating you that day. Look it up.
Because listen, the cat knows that it needs to survive.
No, even if it has food, it's a weird thing they do.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's a weird thing they do. Anyways, Miss Marvel was great. I guess Miss Marvel was great. I guess Goose was fine. I'm not over. That's the reason why Nick Fury has a scratch on his face. That cool scar came from this cat.
Yeah,
right? I hate Captain Marvel 1 for that.
Cats made the movie so much better.
I really like watching the women work together. I like that training montage. I wish we had more of it, where they learn how to use their powers and
what
switch
was
on
sweeping,
purpose.
washing the dishes. The other was holding on.
Can we talk about?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Viviana,
okay,
that's your husband.
It's been nice. It's been nice.
That's a shame.
Okay, I love it.
Marvel only has like 3 woman-led movies out of 30.
It's because of people like
Chris.
That was good.
It wasn't good, Rich. It was terrible.
Yeah, the cats hatch out of something that looks like a brain.
Yeah.
They look like critter
villain
eggs.
though for a second? This was the biggest thing I couldn't understand in the film. The villain.
You want to talk about her gold teeth?
Yes,
her
her gold teeth, like she was Central American. Yeah,
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
you
everything
know.
about the villain. The villain of this film.
it's true. It's true. That's nothing to do with the film.
Y'all better keep that same energy when we talk about other movies. If you're gonna nitpick, if you're gonna nitpick teeth,
My grandma had gold
if
teeth
you're
too.
gonna nitpick teeth, keep
Oh,
that
man.
same
Canceled.
energy.
Yes, Jeffrey, you're right. This will probably be the last show. So
It will
thank you for
be.
watching.
It's
To
gonna
be
be
fair,
the last.
Jack, you do say that every other show.
That is true.
I have
You guys-
reasons for the
You guys
show.
double down.
Oh boy. So the villain of the story was essentially a cop kind of henchman figure that lived in the town when Miss Marvel tried to
She destroyed the AI, right?
she basically tried to liberate the people of this earth by destroying an oppressive AI system that was an Overwatch. Unfortunately, when she destroyed the AI, she basically plunged the planet into pandemonium.
Which made no sense. Like, what was this AI doing? It was literally controlling the solar system.
Yeah,
Like, what was
the AI
happening? Like, what?
The AI was controlling people. Once Captain Marvel destroyed them, the Civil War broke out because different factions were trying to take over the planet, and it pretty much in the war they destroyed the planet
Right.
during the Civil War.
And the sun.
Right.
Yeah, the sun, of course. That's what happens in regular Civil Wars.
So then what happens is the villain who lived there is on a quest of revenge. She's on a revenge quest, which is often a great motivator for people.
Apparently.
And she wants to make Captain Marvel pay for being the destroyer of her planet, essentially. Even though the planet is fine. I'm not fine, but it's still there and there's millions of people on it. But her quest is to make Captain Marvel pay. Somehow she gets the hammer, destroyer hammer from the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 movie. The big blue-looking guy's massive godlike weapon. Somehow she's using it, which makes no sense to me. And she's got a team of people behind her on an intergalactic quest to get this bangle that she knows about, but no one else knows about.
Well, she was trying to steal resources from all the places Captain Marvel calls home.
After she gets the bangle power.
After she gets the bangle,
because that's the bangle with the bangle and the hammer that allowed her to open up those jump things so they can suck the resources.
How she figured that out?
Reasons,
right?
Reasons. It was a legend.
Yeah, like the Tesseract. Why can't it do all these things? I don't know.
Right. And what's funny about it is if the villain character had just wanted to make her planet better, she could have siphoned water out without siphoning water out from right where the town was, because 90-something% of that planet is water. She could have went anywhere on the planet to get water and not been noticed.
Why would you take drinkable water instead of ocean water?
Because they need ocean water. Ain't got no oceans. The whole ecosystem, Chris.
I guess.
The motivation of the character.
Well, no, it was revenge. So she didn't just want to go to this planet. She went to the planet where Captain Marvel is a queen, and she wanted to pretty much hurt the people.
Right. She was going to every planet that had some type of attachment to Captain Marvel.
She wanted to hurt, because she knows she can't physically hurt Captain Marvel, so she can just hurt her heart, right? Her heart. I'll tell you. I mean, what I said, I like the relationships and the characters in this movie. The story, I don't understand what's going on. If you guys suffered through Secret Invasion, you would have saw that the whole thing with Nick Fury is
I did it.
The Skrull don't have, but if you saw episode 1, Chris, what you did, because we covered it, the Skrull, the people don't have a home. Nick Fury promised them a planet.
Skrull.
The Skrull. The Skrull people don't have a home, and Nick Fury promised them a planet, right? And they're all pissed off because we've been waiting for it. Then we come into the Marvels. Y'all got a planet.
They got a planet. They got a planet and a king.
I'm like, wait.
And here's the best part. When their planet is destroyed, they're given safe haven on Earth.
On New Asgard.
Which is on Earth.
Asgard has been here this whole time.
And they're happy about it.
So why did those Skrulls...
They're happy about it.
Why were those Skrulls on Earth in Secret Invasion talking about there's nowhere for us to go? We can't have a place here to call home. And you got New Asgard on Earth that is like, we welcome aliens. We don't care. We're good. Like
it just goes to highlight what I was saying, how nothing has any kind of consequence on the other content.
And this one needed to, because Nick Fury is the link between what we've just watched and the new stuff. Like Nick Fury's on the spaceship that we saw him leaving at the end of Secret Invasion when he's like, I'm done here. So I'm like mad confused. I'm like, so y'all had a planet? Y'all like y'all been there for a while too.
I mean, a while.
Like, yo, this thing just didn't make sense, man. Like I did,
and I feel like Marvel's always been this way, but they've been better at masking it. Like the Russos talked about Endgame, and they were like, we had to solve the Captain Marvel problem because she's so strong. So, she's off world. That was their idea. She's off world somewhere because you guys couldn't figure out how to fit her in. Although she's a character we need to see the most of because she's going to be more part of what's going forward than the guys you're retiring.
Right.
Yep.
So no one was thinking about like what's going to happen next.
This character literally has the cosmic power to jumpstart a dormant star.
Yeah, but she's not the only one, Jack. Because if you watch Secret Invasion, you would know Khaleesi Targaryen.
Oh yeah,
all the powers, all the powers.
Wait, you're right. What happened to Super Skrull?
Didn't watch that.
Yo,
what happened to Super Skrull?
At the end of Secret Invasion, Super Skrull, she gets all the powers of all the Avengers, including Captain Marvel, flying and glowing and everything. And I'm like, Nick Fury, why are you not making a phone call?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Was she a good guy though? At the end, of that?
Because she fought the other Super Skrull.
Well, whether she's a good guy or not,
there was two Super Skrulls.
The guy, if you saw the guy who was like over everything, he gets the powers, and then she wound up getting them so she can stop him because Nick Fury was like, I'm not calling any of my friends with powers. I got to do this myself.
Right. But whether they were good or bad, self-preservation would have led them to defend their planet, which was being attacked.
Nope.
Like none of the content makes sense.
Nope.
It makes even less sense when you put it next to each other. And Jeffrey is probably right. They're probably not.
It's not the directors. It's not the directors. They're making these movies simultaneously. If Kevin Feige is going to be the showrunner for everything, then the buck stops at the producers. The directors are the directors. Honestly, probably don't have much choices. This is like TV. They step in. They're like, "Here's your." That's why, like, you'll hear.
What's the point of even introducing Super Skrull if now it should matter most?
What was the point of showing the beeper at the end of Infinity War before Nick Fury blipped away, showing Captain Marvel's sign? If she's not going to be the person you're going to set up for the next 10 phases, why do you show her and then get rid of her? Bring her back in a prequel movie, never see her again. And then drop her in this movie and wonder why people haven't fallen in love with the character. It's like she's here every 5 years, and then we don't see her again.
Let's wrap this up so we can talk about the Netflix gym that dropped last week, which was probably the best content to drop in years.
Like I said, I love the characters of the Marvels. I enjoy. I thought Brie Larson was. I loved her in this. In the first one, she was kind of cold and stoic the way she performed, and she was more of a soldier in the first one. This one, it's like 30 years later. I wished that the content came out more back to back, because between Captain Marvel 1, you see her with this little girl. Years later, WandaVision. Oh, that's Monica. She got her powers through the hex symbol. Years later, the Marvels come out. There's too many gaps for us to emotionally connect.
Get ready, because it's going to be at least 2 to 3 more years before you get anything.
Right. But I think the reason why we loved Ms. Marvel so much, especially if you watch the series, is because there wasn't much time between seeing her series and this movie. It was like, okay, I got to know you, I like you, and then I get to see you in this big adventure. Now that I got to know you, I wait 10 years. And then, here's the movie. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was better than Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yep, agree.
I liked it. It was more fun than the Eternals.
Yep.
I give you that.
Pretty even with Shang-Chi. Like, this and Shang-Chi are kind of like here for me.
Yeah.
Like right here.
I agree with that.
Like right here.
So nothing from Shang-Chi is playing out.
Dude, at the end of Shang-Chi, dude stepped through a portal with Wong. Where did they go? Bruce Banner was there, right?
It's like they're just doing random stuff for the sake of doing random
stuff.
Where's
Shang-Chi? Oh, he would be in my new Avengers team. Where's Shang-Chi?
Well, he would have to be in the new Avengers.
I mean, by the time he comes back, people are going to be like, who is he? A whole generation of kids will be teenagers by the time he shows up. Be like,
Oh
who's
wait,
this
that's the
guy?
Barbie. That's the Ken guy.
That's the
Ken.
Ken guy.
He's one of the Kens.
That's wild, B. That is wild. There's a dead Titan from Eternals living in the ocean, and we have not.
No one's talking about this.
No one's talking about this.
Oh, he was a footnote in a news clip in the background of something.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that makes it better. Oh man.
It's like none of the movies have consequence. All right. Are we ranking?
Yeah. Let's rank it.
We want to rank it?
I'll rank it. I'll give this. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I liked it, but there's issues beyond the movie that makes this movie hard to enjoy as an MCU thing. But it's above average for me. I liked it. And real quick, Rich, you're right. You're not a little girl. You're not a teenage girl. But this is a Disney film, and I didn't mind that they gave the girls in the audience, like little girls, like the Disney princess moment. Like I was like, good for you. We're gonna get Deadpool soon, and so this is for them. Like it's nice that the content can still.
Lawrence
be
is talking about there is a planet they go to where everyone sings musical theater. It's their language.
Oh God, it was horrible. I'm like, what am I watching right now, bro?
I liked it.
What am I watching right now? No,
I liked it for you. Obviously,
it wasn't for you. But and I think that has to be okay. That has to be okay.
I think if I'm gonna rank it,
it's always about the bracelets and the rings or the box. There's always a MacGuffin, Jeffrey. There's always a thing.
Yeah, but what about the bracelets? Because then Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel should have both of the bracelets now.
She doesn't.
I felt like that was a blooper because I'm like, where are the bracelets?
She gets in the spaceship right after the battle, after she's got both bangles, and goes to Earth, and she walks out to meet Nick Fury, and she only has one on, and you never see the other one the whole rest of the show.
Nope, in space.
What happened to it?
I felt like that was one of those moments, like in those movies where they're eating a hot dog, cut back to him as a burger, like somebody continuity. I don't think that's a story thing.
The whole movie was about the bracelet. She gets the second bracelet, and then they filmed this before that,
and that would make her like way more powerful with both angles.
Theory.
Yes,
well, and she said in the movie, like it went across the cosmos to find me. Like it's her bracelet. The second,
it's her bracelet,
and it's made for her because then she's like part Jinn or whatever. She's like part some type of alien creature or something like that. So
she's able to use them and with no fear of it harming her.
Right.
It was almost upsetting when she walked out and didn't have the second bracelet on. I don't
know. I didn't see her have the first. I didn't see her have either on. I didn't see both.
No, she did. When she meets Nick Fury, she had the left one on.
Yeah. She always had the left one. It was over.
You know what they did? They probably didn't get that shot and grabbed this from another scene they cut it out of.
It's insanity.
They're like, we need a shot of them walking out the ship. We don't have it. Let's.
How can the whole movie be about the bangles? She gets it, and then they just forget to keep it on her.
What's your ranking?
I would say the movie is a 5.5, but the relationship dynamics were so enjoyable for me. I would give it a 6.
I'm a 6. Miss Marvel made the movie for me. 6.
Okay. I am a heterosexual male. I'm giving this a 4 because even though Miss Marvel is delightful, it's not enough to carry this movie.
What do you mean a heterosexual male got to do when you give this movie a 4?
Because this movie is. We were walking out, and my girl was like, "Hey, this is who the movie was made for." And I had to turn around, and it was a bunch of teenage girls. I'm like, "Yes, this movie was absolutely made for them," and they probably would give this a 9, if not a 10. They probably enjoyed it, even though I will tell you this much: when I was in the theater, it was pretty much full, and no one was really hitting the jokes. Like the jokes that came out, people silent. I'm just like that. Like I think my comedic like funny bone is there. I'm like, that's a joke. People should be laughing at this if it's actually funny. It wasn't funny.
My theater laughed at all the Kamala parents jokes.
Yeah.
They laughed at all the parents' jokes.
The parents' jokes, yeah, but there was some other stuff. I'm just like, bro, this movie's not hitting. It's
All right,
not.
with our scores combined, we've given it, we'll call it a 5.5. All right, now let's talk about the real main event.
Yeah, let's
Let's
talk
go.
about how this lone assassin fights the patriarchy. How did you like this one, Rich?
Hey, listen, you want to talk about character building? All right, actually fighting that patriarchy. What are you talking about?
What I love about this is for anyone watching. This is the point. It's not that men can't enjoy this or women can't enjoy that, because literally you have two pieces of content where the leads are women. The leads are fighting oppression. They're fighting a form of a patriarchy, but one is written so well.
Right.
One is written so well.
Like, hold on. Captain Marvel, you can't sit there and tell me these women are fighting the patriarchy when they are the top fighter pilots in the Air Force. Like, there's no way.
No, they're not.
What are you fighting?
It's not that they're fighting the patriarchy. It's just that sometimes men have an interesting response to seeing women be leaders or be powerful. They have an interesting responance to it. But
I have no problem with it.
I didn't say rich.
If it's written
some
well.
men. I said yes, right. Because
Yeah.
I remember a week ago when I was in here, you were talking about how like there wasn't a soapbox moment with this, and then you brought up Kill Bill. And like Kill Bill is all about this woman tearing down everybody. The only good fight she has is against other women. She kind of lays the guys to waste really quick, including Bill.
Yeah.
But the story is so good, it doesn't feel like it's preachy. But like if you watch Kill Bill, she's literally just destroying the patriarchy, and that's not bad. So I think it really comes down to if the content is well written, if it's good.
All right, spoiler free on Now We Are Talking. We've jumped to Blue Eye Samurai.
Brief spoiler free thoughts.
I think it's the best content that's come out in years. That's my spoiler free.
I feel like this thing is amazing. And it could have been live action. I try to tell my boy to watch this. He doesn't watch cartoons. I'm like, this could have been live action. If this was live action, it'd be in the conversation with Game of Thrones and The Last of Us right now. Like it's like remarkable Emmy Award nominated winning TV for sure. Amazing.
Chris,
I loved it. I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm surprised you liked it, Chris.
Yeah,
there's a lot of animated nudity in this.
Yeah. I'm not about that.
And a full on S scene too.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of dongs.
Listen. This was so good, and I was so surprised how great this thing was. Yo, if y'all not watching this, if you have not watched this, what are you doing with your life?
Honestly, what are you doing? I mean, it's beyond good. It's beyond good.
It's crazy. I almost didn't even watch it when I stumbled across it. I was more drawn to the one that looked like Seven Samurai. And I watched episode 1 of that, and then I was like, I'll watch episode 1 of this. And then I was like, I binged the whole rest of the season that night.
The same.
I would have never watched it if you guys weren't talking about it last week. I'm like, they keep talking about this Blue Eye Samurai thing. I should check it out. And
the same thing with Jack. Like I started looking at, I looked at the first one because I was like, all right, cool. It looks like based off the video game, and then also the myth, which is also based off the video game, which the video game got its content from. And I was like, all right, I checked this out. Let me see this next one because on
Viviana, not thongs, dongs. He was watching.
We talking
about dongs.
Even though, listen, we already know about Chris's thong collection. We don't need to talk about that right now.
No, we don't.
I did you look at smelling rich.
Whatever floats your boat, bro. All right. But yeah, I looked at Animusha, and I was just like, all right, this is all right. Since I'm looking at one episode of this, same thing with Jack. Let me check out this first episode of Blue Eyed, and I'm like, yo, this joint.
Wow.
And I just ended up looking at the rest of it. I'm like, yo, this is dope. What?
And okay, so basically, very, very brief recap so you can just go on about it. It's also like 8 episodes. But you got Mizu. You're basically following Mizu as she set out to get revenge on 4 white men who came to Japan and might have be her father.
Can I simplify it?
Okay. Yeah,
you're going to simplify that?
Yes.
That's not the reason.
Yeah. This at the simplest version of this story, it's a revenge story,
Right.
And the character wants revenge for being born.
Right.
And it's
And
That
her mother. She thought her
right.
mother
Now,
was killed
now
by
I'll
the
say
dude.
spoilers. We're in heavy spoilers already because we don't know that the character is a female until the very end, last frame of episode 1.
Although you are wondering the entire time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes, you are. Yeah, it's written that, but they don't hide it. It's drawn the way it is. It's acted the way it is, but it is a reveal.
It speaks to the oppression of this time that she can hide in plain sight because no dude will ever think a woman would be this skilled.
well,
Period.
the women weren't allowed to travel by themselves. Whenever they tried to travel
Yeah.
to, which
You had to have a travel pass.
And
Wow, he's trying to get us canceled again. He's trying to get us canceled again. Are you guys watching this? He's trying.
but like the guys would never imagine a woman would be this skilled, can like better me in sword play. So like
Right.
they're ready to buy into the lie without, even though when you look at her, it's like
No, it'd be too disgraceful. It's disgraceful enough to get beat in combat, let alone beat by a female in combat. So
Right.
it's easier to, like, the brain is doing all the work for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, in the episode 1, it's revealed that Mizu's a woman. And then we kind of go on this journey, like Jack said, and she's basically going after this one guy. This season's about one guy she's after,
Fowler,
which
right?
I love,
Yeah,
Fowler,
Fowler,
because that means
yeah.
that we're going to have seasons, Rich, of her going after the next two.
Let's do it.
At the end of the episode 1, it says this season, Blue-Eyed Samurai. Blue-Eyed Samurai, not eye. Blue-Eyed Samurai. And it shows you kind of what's going to happen.
Well, I tell you what's crazy. After I finished the season, the whole thing, I just sat there going, "What is this content?" I couldn't believe that it's 100% original. I went deep diving to try to find it, and the guy who voices Fowler, we talk about voice acting all the time, is Kenneth Branagh.
who
Doesn't sound anything like
Hercules.
Kenneth
Wait,
Branagh.
no. What did he do? Was he?
He's been in a lot of Shakespeare stuff, but he directed the first Thor movie. He's just a
He's
brilliant
the guy.
actor.
He plays Poirot in the Death on the Nile.
That riveting.
Yeah,
That riveting
Death on the
movie
Nile.
we reviewed.
Jeez, Yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express was way better.
Where Jack
And
had us watch
there's
Death on
actually
the
a third
Nile.
one just dropped.
Oh, we're not covering that one. There's only one flag I throw on this content. There's only one. In
What's that?
some of the combat, and multiple times, I was watching soldiers wait their turn.
Oh,
I would see it bad, but it was because it's so good that I'm like, I see the guy in the back just with a sword, like.
But
Well,
what was
guy
crazy
that-
about it was they
Sure.
set up just how scared some of them were, though.
Well,
This
the guy
wasn't
helped
that.
her. The guy when she storms Armistice Castle and she gets her sword stuck in the wall.
This
the
wasn't
dude
that.
helped her with the-
Yeah.
There's ones who didn't engage and it was completely story, and then there were others that just stood there and some of them are like, well, maybe they're samurai. It's dishonorable, but
Right.
some of the fights they weren't samurai,
I
and
don't
they're
know, man.
dishonorable.
I don't know, man. If you're in a fight and you see some samurai just tearing your squad apart, you might think twice. Like,
No,
you know
but
what?
I'm talking about before she starts tearing them apart, where she's just fighting two guys and the other three are back there waiting. And she kills them, and then it's like, oh, it's my turn. Like they didn't not fight her; they just didn't jump her.
I mean, how much jumping are you going to do? Are you going to just poke with a sword, or you got two guys swinging swords at another person? You might get hit.
If you
I
see
would
her,
imagine.
if you see her hacking away at them, but they're not out of it yet, and I'm not saying it can't happen once. I'm saying, but multiple times through multiple episodes, I saw people waiting to fight.
Well,
Yeah.
And
all right. Let's talk about
about
this though. Let me tell you what I could not get over how much I loved about this content. For me, watching a lot of content, I'm so far ahead of the content. It's frustrating for me sometimes. My brain predicts it, and then I just waiting for it to play out. I was never ahead of this content, and somehow they kept managing to take the content as far as you could take a thing but it felt plausible.
I was ahead of it a bit, and that's not bad. Like I knew that the princess was going to be independent, and she's going to find her independence. I knew
I'm
the
not
guy
talking about
watching
that.
over her.
I'm
And
talking
I-
about like
And I knew that she and the guy were going to become like close, if not lovers, Mizu and her bully. And I knew that in the end, Mizu's either going to kill this guy or not. I don't think this content isn't strong because we can't predict it. It's just strong because the character's desire is so clear what they want.
but it was still, here's what I mean unpredictable. All right, heavy spoiler. Mizu is tasked with killing a prostitute from the head of a
Why
prostitute.
Sebastian was holding up this grenade, Chris?
Right.
Like, this is so
And
Because
And-
this content is the bomb.
there you go.
it is the bomb, and it kills her that she has to do it. As a matter of fact, she's not even expecting it. She's thinking that the lady's going to ask her to take out the head of this kind of organization that's oppressing them.
Right.
Mhm.
But she says, no, I want you to go. Instead of doing that, they'll know we did it if you do that. Don't do that. Just go take out the person who he's abusing that's over there. And she goes through this thing, and she ends up taking her out. And it's tragic and it's heartbreaking. And she goes back and she tells her, I managed to do it. No one
I
saw
did the
me.
sign, the whatever sign.
Right? Gave her the sign. And you're like, man, it cost you so much to go through that. And she's leaving. And then they find out at the end of that episode, the bad guy who was abusing the other woman anyways ends up finding out that they're responsible for that woman's death. So he brings his entire 100 army to come kill them anyways. And so you're sitting here going, well, I didn't see that. And I felt like I was in a constant state of, you dialed the content up as far as it could go, and then somehow you still managed to surprise me with where you take it.
Yeah, well, I think I didn't have that experience of didn't see that. I just felt like I enjoyed characters acting naturally. Like that little boy does not owe it to you to not tell on you.
Right.
So
right.
the little
Yeah.
boy just acted as he should in this world. And that was
Yes.
refreshing to see, like, yes, you threw a candle at the end of the season. You see her fighting Fowler, and to stop his way, she throws a candle and sets a thing on fire. Yes, you set this on fire to stop him, but you also burned the whole city to the ground. And he has this wonderful line where he's like, you sacrificed the biggest city in the world for your revenge. That's the white half of you. like,
Right.
like
Oh my
I was
God.
like, whoa. And it wasn't like I didn't see that coming. It was just so rooted in depth.
Well,
that it
but
was
I
just-
think you nailed it. And this is a sign of like really masterful writing is when the writer is accountable in a way where all of the characters actually are behaving with plausible deniability. Of course, that kid had to go report. Like you said, he didn't owe them anything.
Oh, you
And you,
nothing.
and you see that throughout all of the characters' choices, where you're like, I can't shake a stick at them for acting out of character. They're all acting within character.
And there was also that you might want to cover Sebastian's ears, Chris, because this is mature content. It was very interesting, the gross nature of the sexuality of this content.
Yeah.
Like octopuses. And when she had that mask with that long red nose,
Yo.
I was like, what you doing down there?
Well, but it goes back to go ahead, Rich.
No, I was like, when Homeboy was laying back just talking, and like as he was talking, you kind of felt like the strain of his voice. I'm like, oh, something's happening back there.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Yeah.
realize what was happening until she popped up. I was like,
With that
whoa.
long nose, Rich.
And my man was like, I didn't say I was done. I was like, oh.
Oh, and she's
Ooh.
Oh boy.
as he's watching the other one with the octopus.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, but-
an interesting. That's just
but
so
but it's all
interesting.
rooted in the texture of the culture too, though. Like nothing felt like it wasn't actually vetted for information. You know, it almost looked like we're watching a version of like
My tattoo.
Last Samurai meets Kill Bill. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
see
I'm
my
talking about.
tattoo, yeah.
Yeah. It's like Last Samurai meets Kill Bill meets, you know, I don't know.
But
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 That's how it was branded, right? Kill Bill beats something, was it?
It was Kill Bill. I forgot what was the other one, but then I said Mulan.
Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually mad accurate.
And the gross nature of it, I mean, it is on the nose in a wonderful way. These women are only doing this to survive these men.
Right.
Like it's survival. And this specific house will do whatever they got to do.
Right. The kink house.
Yes, to survive it. And they make the money to do so. Now, what's very interesting to me is how is Fowler such an amazing fighter? Like he was like, I get he's like last boss fight, but how is he that good?
I mean,
but it goes.
You're not going to raise that level, not be.
Wait. Your wife said you must be watching this while I'm sleeping, Chris. Face orange, raised eyebrow. You in trouble?
No, he was because he was in this tower for years. For I think he said like 10 years, and you saw him when he was drawing or doing the calligraphy. Like he did all this stuff. He mastered doing all this stuff, but because he had to stay in hiding. So that's why
I can see why he's a good fighter. I don't see how he's just better than her.
Yeah, his power set felt like this is part of the, and it's not anime. It's got anime vibes, but it's cartoon content. He is the big bad boss. So regardless, he's just that good.
Right.
Where everything else leading up to this felt so natural. I felt like she would have killed him with ease, and it probably should have been with ease. It should have took her forever to get to him. But that's the part of it where I'm like, that's
the other thing that was crazy. In episode 6 of 8 episodes, she does get to him, and she makes kind of her Loki self-sacrificing moment. She sacrifices what she's been going after
for the dude. But I bought that because she was so beat up at that point when she fought him. I had plausible.
She had that spear through her ankle. She was
wait. Can we talk about how before she busted in to get him, the guy that she saved, she used his body to go through the window? she chucked homeboy's body through the window before she made her entrance.
She's ruthless, man. This character is ruthless.
That's why I love her, because it's like you just don't know. She'll get the bad guy, but she might burn the whole city to the ground. She's gonna get inside and save you, but she'll use your body to create the entrance. Like
here's where her motivations were never honorable, right? And she goes out of her way to say,
she's honest from the beginning with that whole mantra she says.
Yeah, she says, "I am no samurai. I'm not trying to be a samurai." She simply wants to kill all the white guys.
But by the end, she has her kind of like moment where she's like, I don't deserve this sword of steel. Once I kill him, I'll return, and then you let me know if I can become worthy. So she knows, like, I'm not worthy until I'm done with this revenge thing.
Right.
But she does plan to be done with it.
But that's another element that's so great about this content. At the top of the thing, there's this meteor that smashes into the village, and it's this crazy kind of iron ore metal that doesn't exist anywhere else. And they forge a sword out of it eventually. And so she's walking around with this weapon that's incredible. But even when the weapon finally breaks, her sword father says the thing was too pure. And this whole thing is about how we identify, what's purity, what's good, what's bad, what's strong, what's weak, what is the earth that we're looking at. And then you get this great little gem in the middle of this that episode where he's just talking about artistic expression and endeavor. And he compares his art of making swords to her art of revenge. And he learns it in that moment that what you are doing is your art. And the artist must give all of themselves to the art. And so he embraces, there's not a judgment that she wants to kill people. It's like, that's not a judgment. It's just her path.
And he lays the groundwork in the first episode when she's like, I'm a monster. And he's like, well,
I don't have eyes.
But he also is like he talked about the sword in the beginning, like it can't be too pure. It needs to be a mix of both for it to be strong.
Have that impurities in the core for it to be
and pretty much talking about her. And it's just interesting when you watch this content. You have this woman who's going after these would-be fathers, You have a blind sword maker. You have a guy who just wants to be great with her, who has no hands. Like everyone is like literally the disenfranchised are teaming up together. You know, the princess who doesn't want to just be given to this husband under her father. She wants to have a piece to control herself. Like they're all fighting for some sort of freedom, at any cost.
I wouldn't say the swordsman was disenfranchised. He was actually well known. He was famous for his swords.
He was
People sought after him.
Right,
the Hattori Hanzo of this world.
Right, because we picked him up at the end of his story.
Well,
but if we caught him when he was blinded by the fire, and how he had to become that, so like they all at one point.
But what you're looking at is everyone has some sort of seemingly a defect somehow. The lead protagonist is a mixed race, and so she's thought to be a monster. Her apprentice, who she eventually takes on, is genetically deformed because he's missing both hands from birth. Right. Her sword father is missing his eyesight. The other samurai is missing his honor. And so they're all missing something, but what's so
and the other sword guy is also class. Like he wants to be with the princess, but it's like she'll never be with this.
Exactly. Yeah. He's missing the honor. He's missing the status and the honor to have what he wants. And so but what's crazy about the content is how they take all those things that would, for the average person, be the thing that cripples them from taking action and having a fulfilling path in life, and they make it their strength eventually. Which is why this content is it ticks every box. It just keeps ticking boxes the further down you go.
What's great is it makes it their strength, but then you watch them make choices that could be darker, right?
Yeah.
So the princess at the end is like, I want to be great. And we're like, whoa, you just were giving your freedom, but now you're going to stay because you want to be great.
She wants power.
So you see the line of your pure want versus now you might be tipping over to something else. I don't know. And then you see, just like with revenge, she wants revenge, and her course is so dark and so disturbing.
Well, so here's a spoiler prediction I have. At some point in the content, well, it's at the end of it when the whole Edo's burning down, which historically did happen. Fowler tells her that the woman you thought was your mother wasn't your mother at all.
Right. She's the maid.
And so what that tells me is that our blue-eye samurai is probably royal blood.
Maybe.
Well,
she came from a family that had a maid in feudal Japan. So she's coming from one of these houses of status, and they are and look at the shogun at the time is in cahoots with this white guy. And so we know that the other white people who were in Japan at the time are also of high status, mixing with the higher ups. So it's possible she's like the empress's wife's daughter or something.
That'd be interesting. I did get that impression that she's way more than she thought she was.
I think it foreshadowed when she first saw the princess, and they had that moment where they locked eyes and like slowed down. It kind of I think it was like foreshadowing that maybe.
And this content is so good at dialing up the thing as far as the thing can go. I wouldn't be upset if that's where it goes. You know, you're like,
I would love for it just to completely go to London. Like
it has to. That's
everything in Japan is done. Like
that's where they're going, because I think that's the other.
They have to come back to Japan because the other characters are still there. So I think we're gonna
get brand new ones, brand new adventure.
Maybe, but she's going to come back to get that sword.
Maybe
there's no way you don't come back for the ultimate weapon. You always come back for the ultimate weapon.
Maybe the last. My main prediction is that Fowler is going to have a hero's journey, and by the end of this, he's going to hold the multiverse in his hand, and we're all going to love him. That's my name.
What?
He's going to completely redeem himself.
All right. Final thoughts.
I hate that I finished it and that there's no more left.
I relate to that. My
What am I
God.
supposed to do now?
Am I a weed now because I love this thing?
No, you're not close.
I'm gonna start
Not-
eating some Pocky and
Not even close.
This
Nope.
is an anime, Chris.
Nope.
close enough. This is as close as I get. So
This is just a drama set in Japan. It's amazing. I guess we can rate it. We watched the whole season.
Yeah.
10. It's a 10
Nine.
for me.
yeah, I give it a 9.
Wait, hold on. Why a 9?
Nah, I don't think it's a 10. But
Because
too
it's
many-
still a drawing.
It was too many anime boobs in there.
yeah, it still made me feel uncomfortable at some points, but it was good.
Rich,
This guy right here.
what are you gonna do with him?
I don't know. I'm giving it a 10. Like it was great. Even with some of the things I was like, it was everything else just
What were some of the
overshadowed.
things? What were some of the things that made you go?
It was just a little BS, like the tunnel with the water trap and everything like that. No, I was like,
tunnel with the water trap.
Yeah,
Tunnel with
dude.
the water
Ep-
trap.
Episode 6, where she
yeah.
goes
Like,
to
how
the
does all
castle.
that work? I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, stop thinking too hard about this, Rich.
Yeah.
This show is good. All right, this show is too good to be thinking too
I mean,
hard
that
about.
episode is when the thing really goes Tarantino. Even the
Yeah.
music shifts hard.
Yeah.
That first music shift though in episode 1 when she starts training, that did jar me.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was like 1995 all over.
But with the scene where she was in the when she started fighting in the brothel,
I was okay with that.
That was also from a little bit of Tarantino right there too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that scene when she first was fighting. When she was up there looking, she was fighting the show. That first big fight she had with all those samurai dudes before she fought her bully, and the bully steps out and he's like, "Do you know who this is? He's won 15 duels. How many have you had?"
Yeah.
And she looks around at all the guys she beat. Should I have been counting? I'm like, that's just
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
That's just dope. I was like, that's stone for you. And there's another Stone Cold line that Ringo had where he was like, she'll come
About the
back.
Russians?
No, he's like, he just simply says, she doesn't know how to die. I'm like,
She doesn't know
ooh.
how to die, and it's so true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm giving this a 5 because Rich
all
gave
right.
the Marvels a 4. So I'm gonna give this a 5 and ruin this. Nah, this is a 10. If this isn't a 10, I don't know what is a 10, Chris. Like, what's better than this? What's better than this? Don't say Venom. What's better than this?
I don't know, but all I'm saying is, yes, Sebastian, you're
Oh,
better.
Sebastian, you're way better than this. Yes.
Yes, but no,
That's
for me, I mean, it's just out of my usual, but I loved it. So I'm not saying it. Not like act like I gave it a 6 or a 7. I gave it a 9.
We
Well-
gave this thing a 10.
With our combined score, we've given it a 9.75, so we're giving it a 10. This
There you go.
content's a 10.
It's a 10.
We just
What's-
gave it a collective 10.
I think
Is this
the
the
only-
highest thing we've ranked?
I think
Yeah.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Was
Yeah,
it?
Spider-Man No Way Home got 10
I
too.
think that was 10s or similar 9 point something.
Yeah,
at the end of
9
the
point
day.
something.
I think so. This is Spider-Man. Wow.
So I guess the takeaway of the episode is if anyone who's watching this is looking for decent content and you like this kind of content,
Even if you don't like this kind of content, just watch it. 'Cause I don't like this kind of content, and I thought it was dope.
You do like this kind of content.
You just can't get over the fact that it's animated, which is
Like
weird, bro.
if this was live action, you would have
it's
been
not.
all over this. Like beat for beat, if this was live action, you'd have been all
Probably.
over this.
Bro.
and
is
you would have
strong.
enjoyed the boobs too.
No, he wouldn't, Sebastian. He doesn't like those things.
so go check out Blue Eyed Samurai.
Go check it out.
Recommendations?
Yeah,
Chris,
sure. Yo,
recommendations.
No,
like
here,
a
let me help.
song or something like that.
Dang, Jack.
There you go. There you
No,
go.
Jack has to
All right,
sing.
so-
Jack has to sing. Recommendations. There it is.
So if you want non-multiverse, if you want multiverse content, but non-Marvel multiverse content,
Me.
there's some places for you to go.
And
Yes,
Okay.
and you.
and
Number one, Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
all about the multiverse.
true.
Number two,
me.
if you want to go way back to the originator none greater, go to hit Doctor Who, which I don't really watch Doctor Who, but
Okay.
it's been doing multiverse since the 60s.
Mm.
Number three, Everything Everywhere All at Once was.
Yeah.
Probably the best modern day telling of the multiverse. Is
Sausage
I
fingers.
think so. I think so.
Sausage
Before, if you
fingers.
want,
fingers.
now this one was a little bit of a. Would you guys classify the first Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula as multiverse, or is that just
Some
time
of the
travel?
sliders.
That's time travel.
Time travel,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sliders.
Sliders.
I love sliders growing up.
Sliders was cool, and there was Fringe too, which was cool too. By J.J. Abrams did Fringe.
Ah, yeah.
I remember French, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the multiverse is like multiverse is like the new vampires where everyone's jumping on it, but it's been around for a while and a lot of content that I think that before it got hot, it's been around.
Yeah. And if you hear the term multiverse, don't let that dissuade you. It's like I said earlier, it's not a plot point. It's merely different places. It's how the content uses it. So when Invincible season 2 is using the multiverse, don't roll your eyes. The way they use it and how it fits in their story is completely different and pretty
Comic books been
amazing.
using multiverse for
Forever.
as long as
Right.
as long as content, and it's their way of it's their kind of their only way of being able to tell stories that are so off the center of the character and still get away with it.
Well, that's why I bring up Invincible. Invincible doesn't use the multiverse as a got to find a way out, or we got to reboot it, or we got to fix the continuity.
Yeah.
It's there for story. It's not there to clean it up. It's not there just to
really
make
just
It's not
there to
fix
set up
problems.
events.
It's part of the story.
That's the
It's
point.
not fixing something.
Yeah, and a lot of the multiverse you do see in DC and Marvel is there to fix something or fix the confusing continuity or something. But anyways. All right, Chris, well done. Well, that's our show, a very long show, but not that long because we talked about a lot of things. You guys got out of here in an hour last week. Maybe I'm the problem. Chris, does Bashy want to show us something before we jump off here?
Bash, you gonna show anything?
Holding up that rifle because you're happy to see me. What's going
Showing
on?
off your horrible trigger discipline. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's habit.
Bashy!
Okay, it jams. All right.
Yep.
That's it. Sign off, Bashy.
Say back time.
Look, gotta look and say it.
Say back time. Say back channel.
All right. There it is.